Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to Nerd Shit in the Dark, the shittiest podcast on the internet. And we are your hosts, Chase, the Chaz Skripek,
Jake, the Jake Dunstan.
Jake, the Jake Dunstan.
You like that one today?
It works for me, man. It's a beautiful day. There's not much you could say at this point that would turn
hurt
my
your
good mood
feelings.
around. No,
Yeah.
How you doing, Jake?
Oh, just lovely. Just happy to be
Just
here.
love Dad. Yeah. We need to address something right here, right now on the show. Did you buy a PlayStation last night?
No, I didn't.
When I didn't get the text, I assumed,
know.
but I was like, I waited up.
It's fine.
It was midnight, and I was like, guess he didn't get one.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
I went to Walmart and they didn't have the Call of Duty one that's cheaper. So I've devised a plan to go to Morgantown tomorrow. I told Tori so that we can shop for furniture, but it's really so that I can go to the Best Buy in Morgantown to buy a PlayStation for a little bit cheaper. So
nice.
I'll be getting it tomorrow.
At least you're getting it cheaper. How's Tori feel about that? How's she taking?
It was her idea.
It was her idea. Beautiful.
It's very encouraging of me spending money because I
Tori.
Don't ever buy stuff for myself.
You know, I'd never say a bad thing about her. She's a good
No, that doesn't sound like you at all.
But that's great. I can't wait for you to get a PlayStation. Everyone, Jake and I have some big plans coming up. Look down the road. We are going to be playing Split Fiction together sooner, hopefully, rather than later. Definitely once he gets his new PlayStation, and we will be streaming it probably on our YouTube channel. We're just hell of excited because Jake and I, in the grand scheme of things, we're kind of a young friendship. You know, we've only known each other 5 years now.
Strong.
Oh yeah, strong young. Any relationship's always better at the start. But
just don't say that too loud.
We never played a video game together. We've played games. We played the same games and talked about them, but we've never played one together. So I'm really looking forward to when we get that going.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
It's tougher. Like, you're gonna get the PlayStation. It comes down to like me being able to
It's totally on you, but that's okay.
Make time to do it.
Going on.
We'll figure it out though. Yeah. So PlayStation's coming up. A lot of exciting things have happened since the last episode. I got my Switch 2.
Oh,
which if you would have asked Walmart this morning, I got 2 Switch 2s, but that's being taken care of. Yeah, my mom called me. She's like, "You're in the negative on your bank. Walmart charged you twice for your Switch." I was like, "Oh, great." Well, I only have one, so I had to call Walmart, and they figured it out. I got refunded.
Did they fix it pretty quickly?
They like the guy was pretty easy. Like, he got a hold of somebody. He said, "Yeah, in 24 to 40 hours, you'll get your refund." And I was like, "Good enough for me, man." So it seems pretty well taken care of. I'm not super concerned about it, but just makes you wonder about those. My coworker this morning was like, "I saw Switch 2 sold 3.5 million," and I was like, "Yeah, but they're botching those numbers, man."
3.499.
They think they sold me too. You think I'm the only one they got that in all the world? Doubtful.
Right.
Doubtful. Nintendo needs the bump. But I'm loving.
What were the numbers?
3.5 million since Thursday have sold.
Is that pretty good, you think?
It's Nintendo's best selling, like, in that time frame, something like that. I've been seeing things. Yeah, they've been breaking a lot of their own records, Nintendo, but like that, Nintendo, I think they only care about their own records, so it doesn't really matter.
I mean, they are very different. I think about that all the time, how different Nintendo is from every other video gaming company.
Yeah.
Very different, and just
very
in terms
different.
Of the system, the type of games they put out,
Yeah.
I think they deserve a lot of credit.
Oh yeah, I mean, they are true to themselves with every release that they make. They are like if it was a book and it was a book series, and in the first 2 books you got to know your main character, and you're like, this is this character, and I would know if they changed things about him. And then in the 5th book you were like, this is not that character. He's not the same anymore. Nintendo's not that. Nintendo's the opposite of that. They're like, we stick to who we are the whole way through. Because think back to the N64, right? Like, I think that was their first, like, doing things a little out of the box, because like they jumped into 3D, kind of like PlayStation, And then they gave us that weird fucking controller, the
Right.
Bowser Claw controller. And I just feel like that was so part of their personality, though. You know what I mean? It's a goofy ass controller.
Yeah. What I keep thinking about, because I just, man, I've really been into buying old video game consoles, and I've come close so much. And the more I look into it, the more you kind of realize over the last 30 years how similar, like, the PlayStations and Xboxes have been for I mean, right, like, the graphics update, the
Mhm,
interface is updated very minutely for Xbox, like, I mean, they're very minimal updates since, like,
mhm,
360, but you look at Nintendo and just, like, the different consoles they've put out, they're the ones driving innovation in console,
truly.
obviously, like, the Wii and the Switch being the big ones, right? But, like, the N64 and the GameCube, I don't know. It's
God,
nice to
like
see. It's just, I consider it innovation
yeah,
versus, again, PlayStation and
PlayStation.
Xbox, right? You could say it's a better console just because the
Mhm,
graphics have updated. But right, is PlayStation making a better console or is Nvidia making better graphics cards?
mhm.
Like how much are
Yeah,
they really innovating over at Microsoft and at Sony on these consoles?
yeah. I mean,
Not much, if we're being
and you
honest.
and you know what the thing is though, dude? That's like it becomes what do you want more, innovation or better quality video games? Because that's kind of where Nintendo went. Like with the Wii, they went completely like, hey,
The video
we're
games aren't going to be
innovative.
great.
They're not going to be as good as the
Right.
ones that are out on everything else, but they're good. And that's the thing. Like to me, PlayStation nor Xbox really need to be innovative with
Course.
their thing. They make little
Course.
change, like the control, like the PS5 controller, it's got a lot of new feature. Like they add little things here and there. There's motion
Mhm.
controls. They borrowed that from Nintendo, but like I don't
It's a
expect
different
them to do that.
kind. I
All
don't
I expect
either.
from them is to give me, better gameplay, better graphics, bigger games. And you know what? All this innovative talk with Nintendo, it's kind of funny because I feel like the Switch 2 is finally Nintendo's like PS4 to PS5. Like when people keep
Right.
asking me, "How are you liking your Switch 2?" What like even my dad, he doesn't know, much about this stuff, but he was like, "What's the difference between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2?" And I really just could say like it's the Switch but like better. Just like every like how a PS3, a PS4 is better than it's the same thing but better. This is the first time I'd say Nintendo has done that since the Nintendo jumped to the Super Nintendo. Um Hence why they probably just call it a Switch 2. They didn't really do much innovative. I'd say there's nothing innovative. Like you can make a Joy-Con a mouse now, but that's not innovative. That's just, they're so
It's
pumped about their
interesting.
their C button that allows you to chat, which I have used. It's fine, but like we've been chatting on video games for fucking 20 years now. Like
2005,
like
yeah.
this is not but you know what? To me, they didn't need to be innovative. All I ever once they put out the Switch, that's when Nintendo had me with like they've mastered
This
their
is
innovations.
perfect, dude.
The Switch
This
is the
thing,
cool dude. The
like, in
second I
terms of
saw the
a
trailer for Switch,
system, like in terms of a yeah, yeah,
it's got it all, dude, and I mean,
it's great.
I don't wanna I remember when the 3DS was kind of the thing, and the Wii and the Wii U would come out, so for me, Nintendo like, even though Wii was successful, to me as a gamer, I didn't buy the Wii for years after like, my mom got it, that's why I ended up even owning a Wii, I don't have a Wii U. I went from a Nintendo boy to just out, and then the Wii U was such a mess, and I said, "Nintendo should stick to their portables," because the Game Boy, the DS, the 3DS, very
Fuck.
successful.
We were
And
talking
then
about yeah, go ahead.
and then they put the Switch and then they put the trailer out for the Switch, and I was like, "This is it, dude," and I've thought it the whole time the whole time. Yes, the Switch 1 at this point in time is very underpowered, but it's still fucking awesome. It can be
Uh-huh.
underpowered to fuck, it still will always be my favorite of my own video game, and I own them all.
Yeah. Yeah, and for so many of those Nintendo games, you don't exactly need the graphics for a
No,
lot of the ones that you're
no!
gonna
They're
play,
they're
right? Like a
mostly just fun to
Mario
play.
game doesn't exactly need the graphics, right?
Yeah,
But,
and
I
the
mean,
cool thing about the Switch too is it has the graphics
it
now.
takes you to a different world and the types of games that you can play. I mean, I think it's a
Yes.
big deal for them. I'm not gonna get one anytime soon, but I'm very pumped that you have one. I just started actually playing my Switch, so I've had it for years, and
God.
I just started
Yeah.
actually playing it.
Wow,
I'm playing a
dude,
25-year-old video game on it, but
yeah,
it's
yeah, that's
perfect for
fair.
that.
I I feel like I haven't set my Switch down since the day I got it. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I got an
good.
OLED now, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
my house is riddled with there are switches everywhere. There are 4 switches. Walmart thinks there are 5 switches in this house.
There are
That's
switches
there are
everywhere.
switches everywhere. There's more switches than doors in my house.
That's funny, man.
Um,
I'm loving it. This is the first time again, I'm playing something on it that we'll talk about another day, and this is the
mhm.
first time I've used it in this, portable way. Like, every other time
Oh
I've
my
actually played it,
god,
I've just used it on the
really?
TV.
As a console. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I
And it's
really
funny,
am.
some people are like all just they play it on their TV and like I'll do both, but I'd say I'm mostly the portable. I mostly like since it came out, like to me, playing portable video games has always been my favorite way to play.
Yeah, it's been fun because from age, like, 4 to until I mean, even through PS2, probably until Xbox 360, my most played was the Game Boy
Mm,
Advance and the
for sure.
SP, you
Mhm,
know,
mhm.
those were my big ones. I mean, I just played Pokemon all day long when I was a kid, but
Yeah, all you I mean, ugh, they
I
really
know.
capitalized on that back then. They made the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance games had such you could just sink mindless hours and
They
hours
were the
and hours and
best.
hours and hours.
I know, I almost bought one
Yeah.
of those too. I went over to Jeremy's house and he has a Game Boy Color, and I was like, I think I need one of these for, like,
Doesn't
for
hurt.
what? I don't know, but
I don't know
I've
either, but
decided that I
they're
almost bought a
nice to
PlayStation
have.
1. I've almost bought a PlayStation 1 a couple times recently
Right, right.
that I don't need.
No. But it's
I
nice. I
know,
mean,
but it'd be
hey,
great though, right?
I didn't even the day I bought mine, I didn't even go into the store. That wasn't what I was looking to do. And I left this place with a PS1. I was like,
When'd you buy that?
ah, for year and a half ago,
I
maybe.
just figured you'd had one since you have
Well,
so many of
no,
your old consoles.
you know what's funny, dude? I was not a PlayStation guy.
Really? What were you playing back then?
Dude, I would say I was anti PlayStation until the PS4 came out.
Really?
Mhm.
Interesting.
I had a PSP,
Were you
but
like
that
an
was a fight.
Xbox original
So,
Xbox person?
like I said, I was a Nintendo guy for most of my life.
Okay.
So hard on Nintendo, and then in the 6th grade, I got an Xbox, like the original
Okay.
Xbox, and,
Yep,
you
yep.
know, I played
You go one
Halo,
or two
Halo
ways,
2,
yep.
and I started leaning that's the thing. I started leaning a little toward Xbox. This comes around like the DS and the PSP comes out. So I'm shitting on PlayStation. I'm like those fucking copycats doing portable like Nintendo. Like get out of here. Blah blah. I was anti Sony and PlayStation when the PSP came out. I ended up buying a PSP just a couple years later. I'm a bit of a hypocrite, but that's okay. I admit it when something's just better. But I didn't buy
Yeah.
PlayStations. Like the PS3 came out, I was 3 from the second I played the fucking King Kong demo at
Uh,
Walmart. I was like, I'm getting a 360.
I
It,
think 360 well, so this is the problem, right? So this is interesting, my jumping into the PS5 is I was a big PlayStation kid. I had a
yeah.
PlayStation 1 and a PlayStation 2 because my mom's boyfriend, when I was a kid, worked for Sony.
Mm-hmm.
So he got me a I had a PlayStation 1, they got me a PlayStation 2 right when it came out, a bunch of games. I loved it.
Dope.
And the
Yeah.
360 was my change over, and I
Okay.
think very clearly, in my opinion, the 360 was better. It was much better than the PlayStation 3, my
Mm-hmm.
opinion.
Oh
I think
yeah,
the
especially right
online
out the
play was
gate.
better. Yeah, the
Yeah.
online play was much better, more
Oh
stable,
yeah. Xbox Live
and,
changed the game.
yeah, it was way more stable, and all your friends had it. I just will never forget. I will never forget ever life changing. I didn't get a 360 first. Jeremy and Josh got a 360, and I was at their house all the time. And I go over there. I'd go over there on Christmas night every Christmas, and they're playing this game, and there's not much in this world that I get like nostalgic for. I
Mhm.
will never, ever forget them playing Gears of War on the Canals
Oh
map,
yeah.
on
Yeah.
Canals, one-on-one on Canals,
Gears of
and
War.
just
Yeah.
sitting there like that as
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay." I went home, I was like, "Hey, my birthday's June 9th." I was like,
Yeah.
"Mom, for my birthday, it's 6 months from now, I gotta
Yeah.
have one of these. Like,
I
this
gotta
is what
own
I have
this.
to have." But I
Yeah.
haven't had a PlayStation since, so this will, when I buy this one, it'll be a big deal. But what I was trying to say is back then, Xbox was clearly the better of the systems, and I think pretty much across the board, it's pretty agreed at this point that
That was where they peaked.
PlayStation is PlayStation is the better of the modern consoles.
Well,
I
have
think
I ever
most
told
people feel that
you
way.
why I made the jump?
What made you make the jump? Was it at
'Cause because
PS5 or was it at PS4?
it was at PS4. It was I remember that year, 2013.
Correct.
So Sony had their announcement of the PS4, I think in like either February or April, so a little bit ahead of time. I watched. I wasn't interested. I wasn't gonna get it. I was Xbox. I was gonna get whatever the next Xbox was. And then at E3 that year, Xbox came out and announced the Xbox One, and it was such a dog shit thing that they showed. Like their whole presentation sucked. They had a thing where they were saying like you have to be connected to the internet all the time.
Yeah.
Used games won't work. Like they just basically were like fuck you. Fuck you. And guess what? It's also not as good as the PS4. And I was just like, and that day, dude, this is how different things were back then. That day I saw that thing, I went on GameStop.com and I pre-ordered a PlayStation 4. And I got it the day it fucking
Man,
came out.
that
You couldn't do
console
that now.
that console fucking sucked.
The
Truly,
one?
the
I
Xbox
ended up
One,
getting one
I had one,
because
and
I'm
I got
an
it
insane person.
I got it right when they came out because that's what I played,
Yeah.
and if you think it was 13, within 2 years, I was a full-time computer player. Like,
Mm,
I
yeah.
think it sucked, man. My disk drive on it was broken, like,
Oh.
it's just, like, it was just a piece of garbage, and back
Yeah.
then too, like, um you know, I think it's still the same way. I haven't had a disc console since that, so I don't
Mhm.
know. But, you have to download the game.
Yeah,
You
anyway,
put the
yeah.
console in I'm sure you still have to do that.
Mhm.
Um, but dude, I remember the day it came out, like, the downloads it was, like, 10 hours to download a game, like, locally. Not from the
In
internet,
your
like, put a
house.
disc in. Not
Yeah.
exaggeration, it was, like, 8 to 10 hours. So you
Yeah.
buy yeah, like, come on, what are we doing? That's
Yeah, dude.
crazy.
They really dropped the
They
it
fucked
sucks
it up,
too
and
because
they've still fucked it up.
they were doing so
They
well,
had
and
the
then they
market
just
share. They had it. They had it. When it
yeah,
was
yeah,
360, people my
yeah.
age I can't say for your age, you're a couple years older than me, which when you're a teenager is very different. But
Sure.
man, everyone my age had
Yeah.
Xbox, and if you were, if you had PlayStation, it was like you were a leper because you couldn't play with your friends.
I agree, man. I mean, I had friends that had PS3s, but I just, I wouldn't invite them to do stuff.
Even
No.
well, even when, like, Jeremy and now my friend Andrew made the switch not Switch, but made the change over to PlayStation. When I saw the boxes in their house, I was like, "Fuck, this is." I know it's silly but I was like, because we weren't even playing stuff together. I was like,
Yeah.
"Man, this is a big deal." Like they really, Xbox is out, man. They're gonna be gone. I
Yeah,
think they're gonna quit making it
They
eventually. I
they took a
bet.
guy like me who hated PlayStations. Not hated, but
Yeah.
kinda like okay, like how I hate like
Yeah, you're picking teams. It's like how you
right.
fucking
I
hate the Cowboys. Like you don't give
or
a shit. It's not
Ohio. You know what
you.
I mean?
But
Like
yeah, yeah. Ohio is a fine place,
it
by the
was
way.
like that. No, it's not. So it was like that. And come on, Jake, don't even shit with it. Yeah, the Ohio one's not the joke. That place fucking sucks, flat as
I've
hell.
only I've only been to Columbus. Kind of a nice place.
Yeah, Columbus is nice. I give Columbus
I
and
like Columbus.
Athens the pass. I give
Yeah,
Columbus and
Columbus is
Athens the
great.
pass. The rest of that dog shit state can just go fucking
I would probably agree.
get lost.
Anyway,
What was I
but you were
saying?
against them, and they
I
brought you
was against them,
back.
and seriously, Xbox shit the bed so hard that they didn't just bring me back. They stole my heart. I pre-ordered the PS4 and then it was my birthday, June 18th came. So I got a PS3 to like get cuz like I didn't play PlayStation. So I was like I want to get used to PlayStation. The summer, the fucking Last of Us comes out. So my introduction to PS3
As
was
one of their
that
best games.
was its
Yeah.
fucking swan song game. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Well,
then
and then
PS4
I
came and
think
now
about, like, what has
PS5.
Xbox really done wrong to lose people? And I don't think it's just the being a worse system. I mean, some of it has to be that, like, I was thinking about this too. I love Gears of War. It's my favorite game of all time. I don't know if you know that. It's my favorite game of all time. I
Oh
don't
wow, I
know
didn't know that.
how. Oh yeah, yeah. I fucking love it.
The
Um,
first one?
the first one and then the third one was really good, but the first
Oh,
one, dude,
dude,
the first one,
the second
mm,
one's my favorite.
really.
Oh,
The
dude, I
second one
love
was
the
a
second
drop
one.
off from, but that's from an on. So the first one was my
Yeah,
first
I'm
online
talking
game.
story mode.
Oh, okay. So the first one was my first online game. So I was in 7th grade. Dude, and that whole summer, I would stay up all fucking night. Like,
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
grandmother would go to
Mhm.
work at 6 in the morning, and she would
Yeah.
come downstairs, and I'd be wide awake playing, and she'd yell at me, and I would play. I had friends, Eye Candy 3, my favorite. Like, I was playing with dudes that were 30 years old. I was really good at it, and these were my guys. I'd play with them all night long. These, like, 30-year-old, like, people my age playing
Imagine
with.
if you today was
I
playing with
know,
a
they were
7th
so fucked up.
grader
Like, I
online.
remember I was just telling this story to Tori at the beach that, this dude, Eye
I
Candy,
guess
he'd
you
be like,
date a 7th grader, that's true.
she's 29, that's not funny. I have a career. She's 29. This dude, Eye Candy, I'll never forget this. He would be so I'm 7th grade. He'd be ripping a bowl, while we're playing, and he'd be like, "Hold
Of
on, I gotta rip the
cereal?
bowl." He'd be like, "You know what that is, right?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And I thought he was just like eating
Yeah.
a shit ton
You're
of
taking a bite,
like Lucky
dog.
Charms.
I mean, he was
But
gonna
dude,
later, but
so that's like my favorite game of all time. I loved
yeah.
it so much.
Gears
I played the
is
story mode like 6 times. But like that's a
oh
game
god, I
that
feel like I played the first
they
one 6,000 times.
lost. Do you know what I mean? That's a game that they lost, and that's one of their smaller games compared to
And they're
Halo,
still
which we'll go
building
into
on
Halo
it.
in a minute. Oh, when the
Yeah.
Gears comes out in August, my friends and I have a group text, my other friends, just Josh, Jeremy, and Andrew. Those are my only other friends other than you. That we're very excited for the new one coming out in August. And we'll play it, and it'll suck, and then we'll quit again.
Well, you
Did you
know,
not
it's
see?
it's it's just a remake of the first one, so I mean, you'll be
I
fine.
know, but like we'll enjoy it, but the truth is, like, nothing is gonna hit the way they've said
Oh,
they've cleaned up some of the movement, but
I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see
the
it.
problem is cleaning up the movement of a game like that is that game had very unique movement, which is part of what made it good, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of concerned of the cleanup of movement that it's like,
Well,
I
here
just don't understand why they can't make a new Gears of War that doesn't suck. They
th
kept trying. Yeah. They tried to make it I tried to play the one in college, so it came out in, like,
yeah,
13 or 12. It just man, I don't know. The
Gears
first game,
4.
there was no team deathmatch. That was a big deal for me. They'll never make a game like that again. Like, the way that you
Mhm.
played online
Mhm.
was essentially like search and destroy. Like, you just died. I
Yeah.
don't know what the
I
phrase for
I
that would
I've
be.
yeah, I played the matchmaking and stuff on the first
It was
one
so
and the
fucking
second
good. It
one.
was so good.
They
They'll
got
never make
the
something like it
online
again.
doesn't play like that anymore on Gears
No, so now
in
it
the
was
later
when
games?
I played even Gears of War 3, they had a deathmatch. So you could play the old way, but then they
Yeah.
had like a deathmatch style. But dude, what was so fun in
Mm.
3, they would do
I never played 3 online. I
oh
only played its
it
story.
was Gears 3 online was fun. But they would do I mean, so much of those games, it's so interesting how different it is now that so much of those original I don't want to call them original, but original for me like Halo 2, Halo 3, Gears of War, even like Call of Duty 4, the
Yeah.
maps were so much of the
You never
game.
forget them. Yeah.
The maps were very important towards how the game is played, and I think it's probably an art that's lost in the modern day because, the games are so fast-paced now and so different.
It's
The
hard to
and they
know. You almost have to base that on, like, if in 10 or 15 years you have a specific memory of games now
Well,
to
you never
know.
will,
You
right?
know what
You
I
never will.
mean?
And I think part of that, though, is because the games first off, the attention to detail is not there on the maps. That's just a fact because they put a new one out every year. It's not possible for
Oh, yeah,
you to
you're
make
talking like Call of
maps.
Duty?
Yeah, well, Call of Duty being the obvious one because that's the premier online multiplayer game, right? That, like,
I
the
guess.
original Call of Duties weren't coming out every year. That's not what they were doing. You
Yeah,
know what I
like,
mean? Call of
well, I
Duty
mean, it's
4, another one of my
it's yeah, it's been a while since they haven't come out every year.
right, but they originally like Call of Duty 4, oh my god, I loved it so
Yeah,
much.
of
Just
course you did.
I don't know, man. Those
That's
maps were
why it's sorry, but Call of Duty 4 was so good. That's why we're even having this conversation right now, which is like it's bittersweet because that game will always be so good. But it's because that game was so good that we get a new Call of Duty every year.
yeah. And
Yeah,
by the way, we definitely
you should play
disagree on this.
7 though. It was good.
I think they all suck. I think they suck. I think they're the same piece of shit game. Like, I played a lot of the one last year just to play with my college roommates. I don't get to talk to them a lot.
Yeah,
And I get addicted a little bit, you know, I'm pretty good, like, online, so it's fun. But
yeah.
dude, it's truly and honestly the same Call of Duty that I played in 2012. You know, like, it feels the exact same as the original Black Ops game, and I'm
Let me ask
that
you this:
yeah.
Are you talking online or are you
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
story?
yeah.
See,
Yeah.
when I talk about this kind of stuff, I'm usually just talking about the story mode. My
Right.
online gaming days are long
Yeah.
behind me. Um, because I think Call of Duty 4's
Excellent
online
story
was
mode.
change gaming, sure, change gaming,
The
game
online?
changing. The online was that's certainly 50% of it, but I believe that the other 50% of what makes that game memorable is that the story was
Oh, that ghillie suit
also
mission.
all three Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. 3 maybe not as much as 1 and 2. Astounding stories, and I'll say this about Black Ops 6. Is that the one that just came out? 6, yeah.
I'm gonna
I
own
was
it tomorrow.
impressed with the story mode. That's all I'll
Yeah.
say. I think you should play it because if all you're I think well, here's the thing. I think you're blaming Call of Duty for an online gaming issue. All online games anymore just if you're playing online, every game that's a sequel to another game, it's online is the same every fucking time.
Yeah, I
With
just want
story
some
mode,
innovation, that's my problem, I
usually with
guess.
Call of Duty, I'd say 6 times out of 10, the story is also just whatever, but every
Yeah.
once in a while, they throw in another one, and I feel like Black Ops 6 was a romping good time, especially because like, I felt like graphical and engine-changing things happening on like, I could tell we're in this generation of video games playing this Call of Duty. I was like, "There's so many fucking bad guys on the map right now, I feel like I am in war."
I would be more willing to consider it if it wasn't a 200 gigabyte download.
It is a
Due to
big
the
fucker.
online gaming. Due to
You
the
don't have
online
to
gaming.
you can just download. They've made
Okay.
it this way now where you can
Interesting.
just download
Interesting. Dude, I just
what
have
you
such
want.
negative thoughts. I try to be I'm trying to be a more positive person, but man, just like these
Me too.
online games, they're just the same slop. And I blame
That's
them
why I
for
don't do them
Halo.
anymore.
I blame them for Halo going to shit because Halo, going back to Xbox, oh my god, the market share that they had from fucking Halo 2 and Halo 3. I loved Halo 3 so fucking much, man. I loved it so much. The most depressing thing in the world is when Halo became Call of Duty. It was the most depressing thing in the world in terms of the way the movement was. Like, the movement on Halo was very unique, and they
Mhm.
made it where you can sprint and go side to side better. They made it Call of Duty.
I do appreciate a sprint in any game, but
But it was
I
part
hear
of
you on the
the
rest of this stuff.
but it was part of the game, right? That, like, in especially for
You could
the
run in Halo 3.
but you
You had, like, a
couldn't run and
limited
shoot.
amount.
But you couldn't run and
Yeah.
shoot. That was, like, a
Yeah.
big part of it.
Yeah.
Just the movement was very unique, and
Yeah.
they got rid of it, and then at that point, you're just like, "Okay, I'm playing, like, a sci-fi version of Call of Duty that isn't quite as good."
Hmm.
And they just I mean, they lost it, right? People don't play Halo anymore in terms of the numbers. Some people play it, but the
I play
numbers
it.
aren't there. I love
Um
Halo. I would love to play it
I love
again,
Halo too.
but
Me and my friend, Caton, the guy, he's on the show from time to time.
yeah,
He's my boy from high school.
I know.
Um,
I know your whole friend lore. It was like
right,
the first thing you ever taught me. You were like,
yeah,
"Hey, good to meet you. Let you if you're gonna be in this friends group, day one." Swear I
yeah.
hadn't been dating for that long.
These are
You
names and faces you're gonna have to
you're like, "You
know
gotta
on the
get this
spot.
in, bud."
Yeah,
And it was
but
the first time, and Braden was like, "I could kill a cheetah," and I was like, "No, I was like,
yes,
I know I'm new to this friends group, but I have to establish, like, I have to be myself. This guy isn't fighting the fucking cheetah."
right
Anyway,
on.
sorry.
Agreed. Agree.
Anyway.
What was I
You and
saying?
Caton playing Halo.
We play Halo. I mean, we're on a summer break right now, but every Wednesday night, he and I, we just this past year, we played through the latest Halo Infinite, Halo 6. We played through Halo 2.
Mm.
We played through Halo 2, which talking about maps. Here's the thing. I played Halo 2 story so goddamn much the whole time we were playing it. I was like, I know where everything's at. Like
Yeah,
this
that's how I would be on
this
Halo
is and
3.
he had never finished Halo 2, so it was
Wow.
kind of fun. Like, he started around Halo 3's launch.
Yeah.
So it was, like, new for him, but I was like, "This is built into me." I played this
Mhm.
so much in the 7th grade that there's nothing. And then we played Halo Reach, which I hadn't played since it came out. Like, I played through the story when it came out, maybe one other time. We're talking my freshman year of college. I'm a 33-year-old man. So it's been a while, but we played through that, had a blast. We're on a break. But, yeah, we still dabble with Halo. We don't play online. We used to play online all the time. We played, like, twice the one night because we were like, "Let's just do it for fun. We got some time." So we're big Halo guys. Infinite was but you can see where it dipped. You can see where 4 just was like, "Meh."
Halo 4 was the bad one. That's the one
Hal
that I played, and I was, like,
Halo 4
disgusted.
here's the thing. Halo 4 was the bad one because Reach was good.
I
Halo
played
4 was
Reach.
Halo 4 was fine, but it wasn't good. So that's what started tarnishing Halo's name. And what
Mhm.
sucks is Halo 5, dude. Halo 5 is
But they
fucking
lost it.
awesome.
They lost it though. That's how this
They
world
did.
works.
And I'll
You
tell you
lost
what,
it. Everybody's on Call of Duty.
Halo 5 is probably my second favorite Halo game.
Oh, over Halo 3. That's the sickening.
Yes, dude. It's so fucking good. It's so fucking good.
God.
It's better than Halo. And I love Halo 3. It's Halo 3 right after that.
I'd have to play it.
And then it's Halo Reach. But
what year did Halo 5 come out?
Like 2000 and I want to say 16 or no, 2015, I think.
Yeah,
Xbox One. Then. Yeah. I got it because that's why I had the Xbox. That's why I keep buying Xboxes, because I know Halo's coming out. But now I have my PC, so I don't need to do that anymore. But
yeah, 2015.
You know, I wanted an Xbox, so I knew I'd want to play the next Halo game. And Halo 5 was fucking awesome. And Halo Infinite, though it is Halo Infinite, hear me out. I'm going to make an analogy. Halo Infinite, and a lot of people didn't even play it, but the ones who have, they might agree with me. It's kind of like a little better, but not too much better. But it's kind of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet of Halo games. There's a lot of good ideas here. There are a lot of good ideas there. There's things that it is fun to play. But boy, that game is fucked all around. Like, fucked all around. But there's a really good game in there. Not really good. There's a competent Pokemon game. There's a competent Halo game in there.
I know,
just
but
riddled
you just can't do that. You just can't do that, man, because these kids like
did it.
I mean they can't do that. I mean, 343.
No,
you can't, especially in today's day and age where Call of Duty, while I think it is absolute dog shit and they've ruined a lot of the video game market, Jeremy's brother Josh his son is in 6th grade, and he grew up. He played Sea of Thieves. That's what he's been addicted to. That's what he's been addicted to. I've never played it, but he's a kid.
Braden plays it,
and this year he took a jump up to Call of Duty, like his first, like more. I don't want to say more adult game, because I was a kid. I was his age playing it as well. But he's so fucking addicted to it. Do you know what I mean? But that's another kid that already, like, he's a Call of Duty guy. Do you know what I mean?
Got the fever.
He's a Call of Duty guy. Why would he ever try a fucking Halo game? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because when it comes down to what he wants to play, which is online multiplayer, Call of Duty will always have Halo beat now for these young kids. They're never going to jump ship to something like that. They'll never do it.
I completely agree. And the thing is, there's so many games that are just Call of Duty. So not only is it just Call of Duty, but like all shooters that kids are playing that they're learning from, it's kind of that simple. Halo's too intricate. It's I don't want to say it's
I totally agree. That's correct. That's why they will never
want to get.
That's why they will never jump to a Halo. Like for
I can just run up to a guy and shoot him and he's dead. Yeah. Not on
There's
Halo.
no like mechanics to it in that same way. And people would argue, oh no, Call of Duty has these mechanics. Yeah, but to be average at Call of Duty, you can just run and shoot. Like it's not like you have to be doing these fucking whatever.
I think there's skill to be really good at
Call of Duty.
Of course
there's skill
at
it.
But there's a different skill needed to be average at Halo.
Dude, if you back in the day, you would get your fucking ass beat at Halo 3 if you jumped on and you weren't good. But my point is now, like, anybody can jump on at least get some kills in Call of Duty. It doesn't matter how much you suck. Yeah, I don't know. I hate Call of Duty. I think they ruined a lot of video games. I really do.
I think a younger
me... And the culture of it.
100% agrees with you. And the current me is just, like, over it at this point. So I'm like... I still 70% agree with you, but I'm just like... I can't stay angry about this forever.
I'm not angry. It's
I agree with you.
It's like it's a really sad apathy of like I think like that culture of video games. I just loved playing online video games. I really did. That's what I loved. I didn't play single player games from like 2007 on until now. Genuinely, until now, because I loved online games. That's what I liked, and they just have ruined it for me. And if you think about it, really, they're the reason for my League of Legends addiction that went on for a few years. And, that's fucked up.
Well, maybe this is like a sign, though, that like you now the adult you wants to play more story oriented.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm all in on it.
Right. That's what I mean. Like maybe the online ones had to get shitty and make you hate them.
They did.
So that you could start enjoying What I personally have always loved most about the video games,
Well, I'm playing video games
their
for the first
story
time in
modes.
6 years,
I
so
know, man.
this is big. First time in
Look at
6
us.
years I'm
We
playing.
we caught each other's, like, thing. Like, I read a bunch now, you're playing video games.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
the fuck?
You know, I still think about how fucked up this is. I haven't played League since 2018. I still have dreams about it, dude. How fucked up is that?
I believe that, though. I mean,
Oh, it was so
I
good.
have
You
dreams
wanna talk
like
about a
that.
good game? Oh, fuck.
I've never played it.
I have the urge every now and then. I still
Mhm.
have a gaming PC. It's old, but just it would still run League if I needed it to, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Just in case I ever wanna ruin my life again. Anyway.
You're better now. You're gonna get a PlayStation, you're gonna have some
Ah,
fun. I'm gonna
yeah.
point you in the direction of so many great stories and so many great video games, and,
Yeah. Well,
you
what I
realize
love about these story ones too is that I can just flip it on
you're a
whenever I
story
want.
guy.
Well, I am a story guy, that's a big part of it, hey, it's a good point, and just, like, I can stop playing, like, I have real life shit to do now, so if I'm like, "Hey, I need to stop," I can pause, I can like, League, it was 45 minutes, that is all you're doing, and you can't look away from the screen. 45
Yeah.
minutes straight
You're
for 1
playing a
game.
sport at that
For 1
point, yeah.
game. It is a s
Yeah.
yeah, it really
Yeah.
is. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it, I'm playing a game, as you know, on Switch that we'll talk about another day that
Yes.
I think I'm enjoying it, it's slow, I would like to supplement it with something else, but I'm enjoying it.
Okay. Let me think about something you might be able to supplement it with over the next couple days.
I know what I'm gonna supplement it with.
Oh,
Final
yes,
Fantasy VII. I can't
that's
fucking wait.
I think that's a good supplement. I don't know, I've never played 2 Final Fantasy games at the same time, but I think these 2 play
Spoilers.
so very differently. 'Cause
No, I
Final
know.
Fantasy VII Remake is not a turn-based RPG, so
I know, I know. I'm also I mean, I told you I'm gonna play It Takes Two with Tori as well,
Miranda and
so,
I started it.
yeah.
Yeah, really fun, really
I
fun.
almost bought it 2 nights ago on the Switch, but I only
Yeah.
have 1 controller, so we would've had to use, like, the individual
Oh,
little and I was like,
yeah.
"Ah, fuck that."
That wouldn't be
S
fun. Now,
so, I'm gonna get it
Miranda
on
and I are a few
PlayStation.
levels in. I'm glad I have both my Joy-Cons and Miranda has a controller because I would hate doing that, but it's fun. It's a fun
I
game,
think I'm
dude. I
gonna
think
play
you
it on
guys are gonna have a good.
PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
It's
Do it,
on
do it,
there,
do it.
right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I'm assuming? Yeah.
It's on everything, yeah. Same as
Yeah.
did we say yeah, we did say up top that, we're
Split
playing Split
Fiction will be
Fiction, so
coming soon.
we don't
Yeah.
need to bring that up again, I guess. Okay, man,
Anyway, so Switch 2's kicking ass and you love
yeah,
it.
yeah, it's having a great time. I'm a happy boy.
And you know what? I really consider this, and then I'll drop it. I really considered this over the last weekend, my feelings on them doing what they did with the Switch 2, right? Just essentially being a graphics upgrade and an engine upgrade. And at first I was like, fuck that. I don't need that. I don't want that. But I think it really takes it to the next level of that you can play all like it just opens up what games you can play on that console, right? And really it's impressive that I mean, I'm assuming you can still play it handheld in this same way, and you still get the graphics that these, like, new next generation graphics. I think it's really cool. I think it's really impressive. I bet it's a lot of fun.
So, like, that's the thing. Right now, I'm playing, games that I got a couple Switch 2 releases. Mario Kart's awesome. The Bravely Default remake is pretty nice so far. The other games I'm playing, they're just like, they're on everything. So it's hard to like judge them to see like what um the Switch 2 can graphically push. Like they said Elden Ring's coming to it. So that alone tells me, oh yeah, this thing can play some
I
awesome big
I think
fuckers.
the plan is for the new Witcher game to come out on it, which will
Maybe.
be really impressive.
That's the thing. I think Nintendo playing my Switch as much as I have, I think I'm seeing that they're kind of finally up to plate as much as you'd want them to be, especially when you're talking a portable device.
Incredible. Yeah, I saw
Um,
the changes that they made to, how much better that this one can run Scarlet and Violet, and,
insane. Like
insane, right?
it's not like it,
Disturbing that they would put that game out in the first place, but it's okay.
it's not as big of a change as like it's still without fault, but it looks a bazillion times and runs
The looks are what
right,
I'm referring to. I will never
right,
play the game.
right. Fun Pokemon game, really is.
Dude,
But it is night
I
and
don't
day
know.
on the Switch too.
We could do a whole episode on Pokemon. I love
Sure.
it so much. I
Yeah.
play it on my phone constantly.
Yeah. Pokemon's. Yeah.
They
I
just
know.
need to bring me back with their games. They've gotta do something to bring me back. I
Did you play
haven't played
Arceus?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it was fine, you know?
I really
I
liked the
I liked
innovation
it.
with Arceus.
I liked it. I didn't
Mhm.
love it.
Okay.
I haven't, but I
I feel
haven't
like
played.
Legends CA might be their, like,
It's a
build
chance.
on that.
I will
It's a
try that.
chance.
I played Arceus, but I didn't play Sun and Moon, Sword and
Oh.
Shield, or Scarlet and Violet because they just have me. I they don't have me. They just
See,
don't have me.
so here's how life kinda went for me.
Now I know we view this a little bit differently,
Black
so
and
that's
White
okay.
came out, and that was probably Black and White and Black and White 2 were probably the last Pokemon games that as they came out, I beat within the week of having them.
No doubt.
And then X and Y, I played hard and then dropped it for a
But X
while.
and Y was
X and Y was
fucking
good.
good.
X and Y
X
was
and Y
good,
was
but I was
fucking
you
good.
gotta understand, man, I'm, like, 22, I'm almost out of college, you know? So I'm sorta I don't have the time, I'm not really playing video games, so I didn't play that I beat it, but it took me a while, like, a couple years
That's
and come back.
okay.
Same with Alpha Sapphire, so those ones took a hit of, like, I'd buy them, I'd try to play, um and that went on for, what all came out? X and Y,
X and
um,
Y and then Sword and
s
Shield.
and no, and then Sun and
No.
Moon.
Sun and Moon and that
S
yeah, sorry, Sun
s
and
so
Moon. Sorry,
so
sorry,
we're
sorry.
talking
The
a
worst ones.
whole we're talking basically a whole generation passes. I'm not playing video game. I'm not playing these ones. I'm not finishing them within the weekend. Sun and Moon came out, and I was pleasantly surprised and charmed with it, and I actually beat that in the weekend that it came out. I was so enamored by it, and I had such
Yeah.
a good time with it. Because they did something a little different with the gyms. There was, like, you did trials, and the trials were this unique like, they were trying something new, so you appreciate that.
Mhm.
I don't know if it was the best, but it was still fun enough that, like,
Mm.
it there was something that happened that made me laugh until I cried in this
Let me
game,
ask you this.
and I had a
Is
good
it
time.
true? Is it true that nowadays you can fight the gym leaders in any order you so choose?
Only in Scarlet and Violet.
Listen, bud. I
And
think
it's
this is
still you shouldn't because they're
this
not
is one of
level
the
proved.
this is one of the instances where I'm like, just give me the original style of games, like not
Yeah,
remade, but
and
that
give
same
you that
style with
freedom.
I don't want the freedom in Pokemon games. Let me go town to town. That's it. Let
Okay,
me go town to
well,
town the way I'm very guided, the way it's supposed to be. The gyms are in a certain order on purpose because it makes them hard as fuck. Right? Like if you choose Charmander in Gen 1, man, that fucking first gym is gonna be a grind. Second gym, grind. It's part of the game to me. I don't know. I think the designs, we probably disagree on this a little bit, but I think the designs of the new Pokemon are and I don't know if that's just an age thing. I don't know if that's just an age thing, but my God, the starters, come on. I know you like that alligator. We've talked about this. You like that alligator on the new one, but Bud,
but
the starters for
started
3 generations in
okay.
a row. I mean, it's a fucking
It's fu
like they're not doing it for me, man. They're just losing
Mm,
me. They're losing me. And I love it so
well,
much. I watch my like number one consumed content on YouTube is watching people play Pokemon games. Like I'm addicted to it. But man, they just have lost me a little bit. But we don't have to
I
talk
mean
about that. We can get into real stuff. But
I
go
mean,
ahead.
I will talk about
I
that,
will. Let's talk about it for a second.
just for a second. I see, here's the thing, when it comes to the designs of Pokemon, another podcast I listen to when they talk about Star Wars, they're like, Star Wars has always been either good or bad. Like nothing like when a bad one comes out, they're like, yeah, it's Star Wars. It's either gonna be good or it's gonna be bad. And I feel that same way about Pokemon like since maybe I'd say Black and White. Every Pokemon since then, I've been like, yeah, there's some that suck and there's some
Yeah.
that don't. And it's like to me that doesn't it's whatever. Starters kind of matter, but like
I think they
their
matter a
evolved
lot.
their evolved forms are what matters most to
That
me.
is
And
what matters most, and I think
they
that's where
stick
they've
that
dropped the
landing.
ball.
Scarlet and
No.
Violet starters are all pretty cool.
Oh, the Quaxel?
Quacks
That fucking duck?
Quaxcaval?
The duck?
Quaxquavel? Yeah.
Yes. The duck. I know
Oh,
people that
I
have played water
love him.
starters their entire lives since they were
Yeah.
4 years old, and they're like, I
Yeah.
can't pick that fucking duck, man.
And you know what? You know what?
Ugh.
Those are the same people that have a problem with being called gay, like as if it's a bad thing. Because Quaxquaval is fucking awesome.
Oh, God.
As a lifelong Pokemon fan and has a lot of judgment on some of the final forms, you want to talk shitty
Ugh.
final forms, dude. How about that fucking fox in the one version that's like a witch? What a stupid looking fucking Pokemon. What a piece of
I like
absolute
that
dog
better than
shit.
Quaxcaval. I mean,
No, Quaxquaval's awesome, dude. He
oh,
dances. That's his whole thing
it
is fucking
dances.
dances.
That's my.
Yes.
I'm like, dude, your
That's what's
starter.
part of its character.
Dude, but for me, my starter is supposed to be like my fucking rock bed. That's supposed to be my
There's
fucking
nothing
fight.
wrong with dancing. Dancing's cool, and so's
I want
Quaxquaval.
my battle
Because you
warrior to
believe it
be
when
a
he fucking
fucking.
kicks the shit out of somebody. I don't even want to talk about this with you because Masquerada, you know Masquerada? Miranda has been a lifelong Pokemon fan, and she told me once that she thinks that might be her favorite, and I think that's a good favorite. I think Masquerada
Mm,
is pretty fucking cool.
mm.
So yeah, I think I think there have been way worse with starter final forms.
That's not
Scarlet and
saying much,
Violet was
though.
fine. That's not saying much, but I mean, they're all still, to me,
Mm,
I don't have a problem with a single one of their final forms.
mm.
Not a single one. And I haven't felt
I'm
that way about a
envious of you.
Pokemon game in a long time.
I'm envious of you. What do you think about these fucking crystals? Adding crystals to Pokemon. What is going on there, dude? I don't like it.
It's
I
no,
don't.
okay, here's the thing.
I think it's
That's just the shtick. Every Pokemon game since X and Y has had some sort of
but people
ability.
love Mega Evolutions. Why are we doing
Okay,
fucking
so
adding
hear me out.
crystals to people's heads?
Stop. So, okay, yes, I think the visual of like the crystal is an odd concept, but I think what that is doing in the combat realm, like what that does to your Pokemon, is a really cool. It's like changing your Pokemon's job system almost.
I'm listen. I
What it
like
does
the
is cool.
idea.
Yes, I think the crystal thing is lit compared to like Mega Evolution,
Mega Evolutions are so fucking
Maximize, or
cool.
whatever. Yeah, there's cool things. I'd say the crystal is the lamest of them visually, like what they're doing. But what it does in the game itself never does it. But like if you play online, if you play against people like strategic Pokemon players, it does create a fun little like, okay, we gotta mix things up
Okay,
here.
but you have to see this from my perspective as a guy who I don't like the starters.
Yeah.
I see they're adding
They're at
fucking
fucking
gems
yeah,
to people's
people
heads that are
head with that
gigantic, and my Charizard's got a
buzzard that
fucking
fuck
crown on,
on
and
it.
and and the game, they're just easy, you know? I feel like they're so much easier than they used to be, and
Yeah.
you could just do gyms in any order. I just don't it's just not getting me,
You
man. It's just not
shouldn't do
hooking me.
gyms in any order though, because even though they're in any order, they're still leveled to
Makes sense.
where you should be. So if you go and fight the one guy right out the gate, you're gonna lose because his Pokemon are level 60. Or
Yeah.
50 probably. I agree with like Pokemon has become, I'd say since X and Y actually, they've become too easy.
They
Scarlet and
just need
Violet
they
might have
just
made it.
need I understand it's a child's
Arceus brought
game.
I think Arceus made it a little harder.
I understand that it's, like, considered a children's game. First off, Gen 1 when I played it as a kid and Gen 2 to a smaller, lesser extent, Gen 1 was fucking hard for me, man. Now, I was little, but it was hard. Like, I thought those games were
Yeah.
hard. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Gen 2,
Pokemon was hard.
fucking hard.
No,
That Miltank, Whitney's Miltank fucked you up.
he sure
So,
did. No,
I
Pokemon
just
games used to be hard. That is the biggest issue I have with Pokemon games
but so for
currently.
me, I can't even bother to pick it up because of that, because it's like, you can use it's just too easy. I don't know, and I like, I think now too, there's just such a wide array of what you can catch. I'm guessing if you can go to any gym, can you hit, like, most of the routes at any time you want in the game?
Yeah, it's completely open world.
So I don't like that, and my reasoning being that the game used to very specifically control what you could and couldn't catch
Mhm.
purposefully, right? It purposely was like, "Yeah, man, on Route 1, you're getting fucking Caterpie and Rattata." You know? Like, there's a reason for that, though, right? They're like, "Yeah, we don't want you to have a fucking Bagon. He's gonna be too fucking strong to fight Geodude." You know? Like, Bagon's gonna
Yeah.
kick the fuck out of Geodude, man.
Mhm.
I like that. I mean, that was part of the game for me, is as you progress through the game, you got better stuff.
I'd
That was the
say
idea of it.
I'd say with Scarlet and Violet, there is still like you have to be so far in the game to get like you can go wherever you want in Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, but like there are things that block your ability to like get to certain parts. So
Yeah.
even though you could get some better Pokemon out of the gate, there are like things like a Bagon, you still might need to be able to climb a mountainside to like get
Okay.
to where
I
he
even but
is.
even like a middle ground, it just was very controlled. There was an idea behind it, right? Of
Yeah.
we're giving
Yeah.
you only certain tools, and that's part of what made the game so hard.
Yeah.
But it's just hard for me to wanna play when it's so fucking easy, you know, because it just
Oh,
for
yeah.
me for
I
me,
I think that's the thing about Scarlet and Violet, like, 'cause I sunk, like, 100 hours right out like, I played
I
because once
remember.
again once again, after Sun and Moon, it was back to, like, I'd get the new ones, I'd play them. I'd take a while to Sword and Shield did it, like, Sword and Shield, stupid easy. Such a stupid, easy, by the books. They were just like, "We need to put out a Pokemon game. Here it is." Like, stupid easy. Like,
Let's
there
make
weren't
dogs, and one has a sword in its mouth, the other one has a shield on its chest. Those are all
go to town,
legendaries.
solve problem in town, fight gym leader, walk route, solve problem on route, go to town. I was like, there's no adventure here. Scarlet and Violet really brought that back for me. Story-wise, Scarlet and Violet goes to places that by the end of it, I was like, this is pretty wild for Pokemon. So that too was pretty cool. And like I said, I went from not playing a couple games again to Scarlet and Violet. Yes, it's a buggy mess, but beside that was a very fun and charming and great Pokemon game. So I don't know.
I'll wait.
I don't
I'll
know.
wait for the next one.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's coming. Here's the thing. Pokemon generations usually come out once every 3 years. I'm expecting an announcement of the next generation. Can you believe it? Scarlet and Violet will be 3 years old this
That
coming
is crazy, and
November.
especially now, I think they have more pressure on them than ever to produce because they are making so much money on the TCG that if you can get through a new generation,
Mm-hmm. Cha-ching. Oh, and they will.
yeah.
And now running on the Switch too. Like, if they put their fucking feet in the ground and make a great game, that game could be Legends ZA. I'm very interested in that game.
Now,
But
ZA
if
will
they
be on
go,
Switch 1, right?
yes, it's coming out for both Switch 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't look into ZA as much. I mean, Pokemon has really let me down as my favorite game of all
Looks
time.
looks
Maybe more than Gears. I've
interesting.
said that about 2 games, so
Yeah,
that's
on
fucked
this
up of
very
me.
episode.
I know, but my most played game ever are just Pokemon games in
Yeah.
general. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But
Yeah. Probably mine too. Probably mine too. If we're
yeah.
talking hours, Pokemon's got a
Oh,
big,
by a
big,
lot.
big
By
hunk of
hours?
my
A
life.
lot.
Yeah, a lot of
Well,
hours. Too many
yeah.
hours to
Yeah, 2022 for Scarlet and Violet, isn't that crazy?
insane to me. Knowing that they could announce a new generation today, and I'd be like, makes sense. Makes
So it's
sense.
every 3 years usually?
Usually. Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah.
remember when they remade,
Three
Sapphire and Ruby.
3 to 4. 3 to 4.
I would love for them to announce a new one and me to be excited. That'd be a great feeling, but I would be
Here's what
0 I'll be 0% excited.
here's what I'm worried about because I saw it with Scarlet and Violet. I saw it with Scarlet and Violet. And it makes me worry, but I think that Game Freak might be putting all their chips into these Legends games, and they're trying to maybe jump ship a little. The difference between Arceus, a game that came out first, and then
Right,
Scarlet and Violet, just on a UI standpoint, not to mention everything else about it. I mean, it looked like they were like, we're not going to put our best guys clearly to work on this one, a version, our main fucking source of income.
right.
So I'm wondering now with Legends ZA being this big like Switch 2 kind of release-ish game, follow up to Arceus, if they're like, yeah, this is what we're putting our money into. Like Game Freak looked like they cared about Arceus, and the thing with Scarlet and Violet is it just looked like they didn't care enough.
Yeah.
And I just talked this game up only moments ago, but the buggy mess that it was released in and never fixed until now
Yeah, it's crazy.
says
3 years later.
something. So I don't know. We'll see. Legends ZA, I'm interested. It looks like it kind of plays a little like this RPG game called Ni no Kuni that I've played and talked about on this show. And I
Mhm.
really like that game. So I'd like to
Just
see that
add
implemented in
just
Pokemon.
add I just I can't I would change my tone immediately if they would just add, like, a difficulty setting to the game, and I think we're at the point that the games have been coming out for almost 30 years, you can add that, you know? Like, it can be added. It's in a million other games, right?
Or just make them as hard as they need to be. Like just make
They've
like how
but
they
my
used to.
thing is
Just
they've
make them,
clearly shown that that's not their intention,
but they need to go back to that because
but
like
they're not going to.
I
They're not
wish they
going to.
would though, dude. You
Dude,
know,
me
but
too.
but
I'm the
here's the
one
thing.
bitching about it.
I think Arceus. That's why I have faith in Legends CA because I think Arceus brought a little bit of that challenge back, a little of that like this isn't hold your hands since fucking X and Y came out Pokemon entirely, and I like
Yeah.
that, and I just want to see if they keep going in that direction.
Yeah, I'm just at the point where I have to play fan-made games to, like, find any kind of challenge in them, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And they're fun because 'cause they're so fucking hard, so it actually makes you have to think. That's the problem is that, like, with these games, like, it's where it ruins it. Like, with these newer games, you don't even have to care about typing, which is, like, a whole portion of the game because it's so fucking easy. You can be
Maybe
the
if you use
wrong
a
type.
keyboard.
Alright, let's go on to actual topics.
Yeah, dude, you're right. You're right.
We've been talking for an hour.
Yeah, we have.
This just shows this is great friendship, by the way. He started saying that we've only been friends for 5 years, but do you see our
Yeah,
friendship, how fucking lush it is?
yeah.
Golly.
We got a lot to talk about. Jake, so let's hop into new nerd shit then, shall we?
Word.
Now
Yeah.
that the intro's out of the
Dude,
way.
so I read this book, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch.
That is a pretty book.
Okay, well, it's an Apple TV series. I'm debating if I'm
Oh,
gonna
I
try
think
it
I
or not.
saw
Um,
commercials
I
actually
I
for
read
it.
this because I read another book by him, which I would encourage you to read one day, called Recursion. Standalone book, 400 pages. They're sci-fi books.
What's it called again?
Recursion. The first one was
Recursion.
Recursion. This is Dark Matter. Um, Recursion, really good. I loved it. Dark Matter is considered his like more popular one,
Mhm.
and I'm not gonna say I was quite let down. I don't think that's the right word, but I liked Recursion more. You
Okay.
know, so
Okay.
Dark Matter. This guy, I'll just do like the first. I try to not give too much spoiler, but the first 50 pages is fair, right?
How many
And
pages in it? 400?
yeah, we'll go.
Fine.
Okay, the guy, his main character is a physics teacher at a college. He's married to a woman who used to be a painter, and they have a son, 15-year-old son, and they talk about how at the beginning that he could have been a really famous physicist and she could have been a really famous painter. But they both chose to have a family life instead. And that same night that they're kind of having these little discussions, um, his college best friend or college roommate is in town at a bar and they made it, they were supposed to go see each other, and his college roommate is a really, really successful physicist, very rich physicist. And when he goes to meet him, they have dinner, they get into a little bit of a fight, and he afterwards gets kidnapped and wakes up in a different universe where he is a that version of himself that was hyper successful and a hyper successful physicist. And the sci-fi stuff kind of comes into how he changes universes, which is a little
Ooh.
spoilery, which I won't get into. And I think the themes are good. Obviously the theme being like, well, now he's a really successful physicist and just wanting to get back to his family.
Mhm.
The ending just didn't quite.
Didn't stick it.
It's good, it's fine, but they just, like, completely forget about a couple characters. I think it's stuff that you see more in standalones, so that might just be part of it.
Mhm.
Especially though I just read a standalone in Project Hail Mary where the ending is just so perfect.
Yeah.
Uh,
What else can you
but
do?
it's good.
We're gonna get to that later on this episode.
Yeah, and it's good, it's good. I read it at the beach, I read it in, like, 2 days, So it was good enough that I read it pretty quickly. Very suspenseful book, very suspenseful, very thrillery, but,
What?
um,
Uh,
it goes into some pretty deep science, and I think he explains it pretty okay. I wouldn't say quite as good as, Andy Weir, but
right.
I think he's a
That's
good
a
author, man. I think he's a good author. I think that Recursion book is better, but it's a good book. I would recommend it if you're like me and you're on the beach and you're like, you see it, you
yeah.
grab it. It's a couple day read. But Recursion was just a little bit better for me, just a little bit better. But the themes were there. It made me be, it's good.
The
I'm interested to see his future writing.
the premise of Dark Matter sounds interesting.
It's good. It really was just the
Maybe I'll
ending.
check the show out.
The ending felt a little
Yeah.
for me. Like, I could have
Yeah.
told you what the ending was very early on for a very thrillery book.
Mhm.
And that's okay. I mean, listen,
Did he just get back to his universe where he wasn't rich and successful physicist and lived with his family? I guess that's a huge spoiler. Never
it's literally
mind.
the whole spoiler of the book,
Literally.
but not exactly.
Wait, hold on. Tell
I
me.
don't think you'll guess it, but
Tell me and I'll cut this.
okay. At the
I just want to
end,
know personally.
so what actually happens is in the other universe, the way that he was able to get over there is that his super successful version of himself built a box that is able to enter a multiverse. Right, and he explains it all through quantum physics. So, you enter the box, you take this serum, and then you wake up in this hallway with all these doors, and each door is a different version of your own universe. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a different version of your own life.
I get it.
So,
So,
what happens is the rich version of him that created the box just wanted to go live the family life. So he went into the box, went to our original character's universe, kidnapped him, sent him back to the other, the other universe, and
yeah.
took over his life. So in the end, he goes back, he kills that version of him, gets his family, but now there's like 5,000 other versions of him trying to also get to his family.
Oh shit.
So they enter the multiverse and go to a new universe, and that's how it ends. And it's just like I kind of saw that coming for when you're reading the
Wouldn't
book.
they still be in danger in the other universe because the other versions of him would also do that?
In theory, but it's impossible. So like
Eventually?
the way eventually, I guess, the way it's described is that the doors don't like each time you go in, the doors are random. So you
Mhm.
can't just like pick which dimension you're in, you know? But agreed in theory. Yeah.
I'm
It
actually I'm
good.
gonna leave this in, and I'm also gonna go right because I'm gonna cut this in also. We're about to go into spoilers for the ending, so if you don't want to listen
Yeah.
to them, then jump out here, skip up maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
It's an interesting premise. The ending didn't quite just crush for me in that same way, but that's okay. I mean, if you think about it, like what is the purpose of a book and a story? Sometimes I'm definitely somebody who puts too much emphasis on the ending, but if for again, it's not even 400 pages. I think it's 330 even yeah, it's like 340. If for 300 pages of
748.
that, I'm like pretty enthralled and reading it pretty grippingly with the aid of substances. I mean, it could be it's not a bad book, It's like a 4.14 on Goodreads, somewhere in there. So not a bad book. Not one of my all-time greats, but I liked it.
But the previous one, you'd say read that first.
Recursion. Yeah, it's
Really good.
better, in my opinion. Yeah, but it's interesting because Dark Matter is the more famous of his 2 books, of the like, his bigger books.
I'll keep that in mind. I'm not sure if I have an R for my
It's pretty
thing
quick
at
read
work.
too, it's like the same size. I'm trying to
Recursion.
see it on my shelf
400's
over
not
there.
bad. Can
Yeah,
get that done in a couple
it's not a big
days.
it's probably that same range, like 300 to 400. It just
Mhm.
worked for me a little bit better. I can't but I read Recursion maybe a year ago. I think we were buying the house, so maybe about a
Yeah.
year ago.
No,
Um,
that sounds great. Dude, I'm on the 4th book of Sun Eater, and then I have the 5th sitting in my living room. I was so happy to see that they were both only 500 pages each. I was like,
yeah,
500? I can rip through that in a week
well, so
easy.
part of why I read it and why I read 2 standalone books coming into this, man, is I've been that one Dragon Rider series that I had talked about on here 2 months ago. It
Mhm.
was 2 months ago, like today, by the way. And I was in the 3rd book, and I'm still in the 3rd book, not very far along in it, and it's really good. It's not even that, it's just so fucking dense that
Yeah.
sometimes I just need
No,
it's a
I
lot
get
when
it.
you're reading
Yeah.
dense books like that. It can be a lot sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah.
is interesting because Wheel of Time never did that to me, but I might
And
just be in a different place as a person.
but I get that with Wheel of Time because, like, I'll read 3 at a time, then take one of these breaks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
I've
I
read
never did that,
7
that's
of
what I'm
them, and
saying, it's weird. Wheel of Time never did that to me.
I still think it's good that I should be putting more time into it. I take a bite of something that's easier to read, and I'm like, "Ooh, I just need a little of this a
Man,
little
isn't that you're
longer."
like, "Isn't that nice to just read
It's
something
very
that's not
nice.
like"
And here's the thing, Sun Eater is kind of still on that level, but it's not as much on that level, so I
Yeah.
still consider it a harder read, but easier than that.
Well, what I find so hard about that series that I'm reading, Bound and the Broken by Ryan Cahill, is God, There's gotta be at least 30 something, it might be more, but at least 30 something viewpoints in the 3rd book. It might be
Mhm.
more.
Oh, wow.
Where I'm at, it's probably been 30 something viewpoints.
It's a lot of characters to keep up with.
It's good. It's good. But, you know, sometimes it's hard when you get really into a certain character and what they're doing, and then like, Sanderson is the master of that when he was a good writer, of having, like, 3 character viewpoints. There was only, like, 3 or 4, and you would be so excited about one character and jump to another, like, he blue ball you a little bit, but it's different when you have, like, 30 characters, so it's just hard to get some continuity,
Yeah.
but it's great. It really is great. Yeah, anyway. So Dark Matter. It's good. It's
Cool.
just good.
I'll think about it, but I'll definitely think about
Recursion is my
reading. I'm gonna take a look at my chart tomorrow and see if I've read an R yet. I might have, but
yeah.
if I haven't, I'll
Did
consider
you
it for
choose a
more.
number book yet?
I did.
Not one I gave you, that's okay.
I didn't read it yet, but I saw it's been on the van forever, and finally I was like, yeah, I guess that's a number. I could just read that.
What is it?
It's called Five Broken Blades. It's
Oh, yeah,
relatively
I've heard of
new.
that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
new, right?
It's relatively new. It came out like last year. We got
Yeah.
the sequel is for Ruined Realms, I think, and we have
Yeah,
both
I've
of them
seen
on
the
the
cover
van.
of that quite a few times.
My couple of my coworkers, but they said it was decent enough. So I
Yeah.
figured for like a competition, it's not as big. Like I'm reading these fucking
That's a
monsters all
big
the
part of it for
time,
you right now, right?
right? So it's nice to have a little bite-sized thing in
Yeah.
between these fucking giants.
I was hoping you'd
Um,
read Three Body Problem. I was curious on your thoughts of it.
oh yeah, that was one. There, what was there was one of them I'd really consider. Like if this Five Broken Blades wasn't just on the van and literally in my vicinity every day of my life,
The Three
I would.
Body Problem was the one I was, I think, the most. Alright, I'm looking at our text messages.
Yeah. Something with a
Uh,
raven? Something raven?
the Ninth Reign, 11th Cycle.
The
Those are the
ninth
ones I gave you.
rain. The ninth
Yeah.
rain, I think. I think there's a raven on the cover of it.
Yep,
I
you got
consider
it.
that. That sounded pretty fucking good, and I still might. I don't know.
I've never read that
I
one.
I don't know when I'm gonna read my number one, so anything when I
Could
first started
change.
this list, I had just thrown in all the Wheel Time books because I was like, well, these will be what's going there. But since then, I've had to change it because I was like, well, actually, I took a break. I started reading these books. I've read so many books with the same letter to start them this year. It sucks because I still have to read other books that don't have those letters. So
Yeah. That'll be
it's
fun,
fun
though.
though. It is fun though. It's giving me. I'm bouncing around so many series and different stories that I'm having
Well,
such a
the
good
Three
time.
Body Problem, though, would be good to read because we could talk about it, and there's a TV show, and the TV show is actually really good. I'm very impressed with the TV show.
Maybe I'll
I
keep
had to
that.
s so I
I'll
had to
keep that in
stop,
mind.
though, because I only read the 1st book, and then but the
No, there's more
series,
than
there's
one
one
book.
se yeah, there's 3 books,
Fuck.
but again, I only read the 1st one.
So more like
Um,
a three bookie problem than me.
no gambling, no bookies, but the show after the 5th episode starts to blend some of the 2nd book into the 1st season of the show, so I
Okay.
haven't so God bless Tori for being so nice about it because I made her watch the first 5 episodes with me, and she loved it, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Okay, that's it. We're not watching anymore. That'll be
Done
it."
until
So
I'm done until I read another book.
but I haven't even considered reading it. Maybe I'll do that soon. Anyway, what's going on with you? What's your new stuff for today?
You know what I'm talking about. I read a book that I think when it released was very famous, but now it is maybe bringing it could be a little infamous, but it's still a really good fucking book. Give it up for I read The Name of the Wind. I started the King
Oh,
Killer
y you
Chronicles.
know what's crazy? I actually wasn't sure what you were going to bring up, so that's where my brain's at today.
Wowzers, man. Wowzers. Yeah,
One moment.
I one moment. There. Oh, dude, that's a beautiful
You gotta
copy.
have a copy of the books for the people to see, in my
That is a
opinion. I
beautiful
love that.
copy. That is not what my copy looked like at
Oh, I've almost bought
all.
a special edition of this one. I actually really like this book.
There's one on
So,
Amazon with of like the broken loot on the cover, and
that's the
I
one I've
thought
almost bought,
I
like, a
think I might,
million times.
but that looks pretty slick. I
I like
kind of
this
like
cover.
that.
Yep, yep,
We have
yep.
the sequel in that quality, but I haven't seen this one in person. We have ours was like green and there was like a log face on.
This one?
That's the one we have for the second one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Wait,
Which
do you
I don't
guys
know
have
when
the
I'll.
3rd one in this cover or no?
Yeah, we have the third. We have the third one. We have the fourth and fifth one
Wow,
actually.
people would, okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you
So
talk
if you
about the
want to
book for a
read the
second before
third,
I
fourth,
start?
and fifth of the King Killer Chronicles, come to the
People would come rob your
Clearfield
fucking
County.
van.
They'd shoot me.
I'd be
They'd
the first
shoot me
one
and
too.
take the
I'd be
van.
the guy.
Well, that's the thing, dude. That's the thing. I'm slowly becoming. I won't become one of these people because I'll never, hopefully, have to wait as long as people have been waiting for a third book. But upon reading the first book, I had a romping good time with
You
this
liked it,
book.
huh?
Oh, I
I
liked it.
told you, man, it's good.
I think there are things that I have issues with it, but
Of
it's one of
course,
those
I
things
have
where like
issues as well.
it's so good around that I'm like, I don't even care. I don't
Yeah,
even care
it's really
because
good.
it has like the complexity of a more detailed written series, but not detail. It was such a it was easy to
He's a
read, dude. It was easy to
but
read
he's
and
easy to
good
read.
fantasy.
He's easy to read, but also an excellent writer, man. His prose in that book are he's a good writer. I read
That
it,
quote I
2
sent you, that
yeah, I
fucking
read it
page about the human
2
mind.
yeah, I read it about 2.5 years ago, so today I got on Spark Notes and read just, like, a synopsis of, like, each group of chapters just to kinda and I forgot how much I liked it.
It's a
It's
really
really
good
fucking
story.
good.
It's a really
Yeah.
good story, and
It's
I'd say
sad.
the only fault that it has, it has a beginning, middle, and conclusion to its story in a way, but it is such a setup. Like, they even say it at the end where he's just like, "Now I've laid the groundwork for
So
you."
so this is
Like,
the problem.
you get no payoffs,
So this
really,
is the problem, and you won't, and that's why
and
the
that's
second
what
book is a little
I
not as good, and part of the problem is
it's
he
bigger.
we'll get into we'll get into it all, but okay. Can we talk about the plot a little bit to talk about the issues in
Yeah,
that
we don't have
regard?
to go into spoilers just right away. We can start
No,
talking just like
just the way so what I was gonna say is the way the book is structured, is it's
mhm,
structured such that the main character is a bartender. He's like an
mhm,
innkeeper, rather. An
mhm.
innkeeper at an inn in
Going by a
a
different name.
going by a different name in a random village in the middle of nowhere,
Mhm.
and he is giving people a story of somebody
Of a
very
fake.
infamous in this world,
Yeah.
who's famous, infamous, and, of course, that person is him in his youth. So he's giving the story of a very famous, infamous person who is him, and it's in the past. So it flips back and forth between the modern day him, who is obviously considered to be if he's
A legend, I guess.
but also a little bit disgraced in a lot of ways, right? That
Maybe?
he's gone to this point, that he's
Mhm.
now an innkeeper. He is called the King Killer,
Uh-huh.
and not always in the best way. So the way that the series was supposed to be, it was supposed to be 9 books, and it was
Really?
initial yeah, 6 or 9, I'm pretty sure it was 9. Again, I haven't looked this up in
It's
years.
weird when it's set in days and he even says in the first book, like,
So
"We
the
got
problem
3
is the way it was
days."
supposed to go is the first 3 books or so were supposed to be him telling his story up until present day in the tavern, and then his actual story was supposed to begin of how he lives out the rest of his life and his new adventure in life, because that's a huge part of the story is it Ben? Is that what they call him, the character that's with him?
Oh,
That he's
what is
always
his
asking
name?
him, he's like, "Be heroic, be who you are, be
Bast.
yourself."
Bast.
Fast. Be yourself. Be who you're meant to be. And he's
I mean, the whole
no,
reason yes.
no, I'm not that
Yeah.
person anymore. No, no, no. So the whole like that's where it's supposed to be going. Is the first 3 books are just supposed to be him telling this old story of how he got to this point, right? And how he became the king killer. And then from there, it would be how he's going to become himself again, right? And that when I read that, that really changed it for me. That I was like, oh, it's kind of fucking depressing that it's like, we will never get that story. Even if he does ever release this 3rd book, we'll never get what this was meant to be, and that's a little unfortunate. But
Yikes.
as a first book, and a second book is good too, but as a first book, wow, what a great fucking writer this guy is.
I had a great time.
My only good.
I couldn't stop like, sometimes when I start these big books, I'll get about 20 to 30 pages in the first day, let my brain kinda sit, get to know what I read. Immediately read like 100 something pages in the first day.
I was really impressed. Yeah, you were like 200 something pages in right
I mean, I
away.
read the whole thing. I started it last Monday,
Not a small book.
finished it Monday morning.
It
This current Monday morning.
all of my negatives that I've said so far, and I'll say more about the person of the writer, it's all because the book is so good that people are just, like, dying for more of it, you know? They're dying for more of it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Which is why,
So
like, I'm happy I've only just read the first one. Like, there's still more new of it for me now,
right.
and then I can join the waiting game, but I
Ye
will not
well,
have
the
waited
waiting
that long.
game, yeah, I just don't
But,
know that it'll ever come out.
let's carry on with, like, so jumping back into this guy's
Sorry.
past is
Yeah.
predominantly the main story of it. Like, you go to present stuff.
Most.
It's
Yeah.
you know something's going on in the present, but you're also kinda like, "This could just be the world right now. Who let's get back to, like, what this guy fucking do that made him get here." And, it takes you through his life. I kinda wanted it to go a little faster through his life because it started like it made it seem like it was like he was young, he was getting older. It seemed like there was a lot there, and then he got to the academy, and I was like, "Are we gonna get him see him maybe get out of the academy within this book?" And then
No, that's yeah.
it doesn't at all, but which was fine. Like, it worked. It was just like, I wish it would've. At the beginning,
Yeah.
I wanted more of, like, him getting a little better, but, like, once I figured out that we were here to stay at the academy and that's where this was playing out,
Yeah.
I accepted it, and I really still enjoyed everything. There were a lot of great scenes. So the idea of this story is this kid basically, not to spoil too much, but like he is this traveling kind of performer with his family, and they pick
Mhm.
up a dude that like went to this university and became an arcanist, which is basically like a
Mage.
mage of some sort in this world, and he can say the names of things, which allows him to have the ability of them. And he joins this like caravan of actors for a while, and he teaches this kids like the basics of like whatever the magic system is, and gets him ready to go to university. And that guy bails, and then this kid's whole fucking family gets killed in front of him by the Chandrian, which are these fucking
Their whole
yeah,
group
their
gets
whole
killed.
group gets fucking killed. He's out,
Troop,
like,
I think they
getting
go
wood
troop, yeah.
for fucking dinner, and he comes
Yeah.
back and everybody's butchered, and,
Yeah.
it sets his life just on this crazy path to kinda get revenge, but also have a wild, fun fantasy story
Well,
along the way.
not very fun for a while, but the first, like, the next 3 years, he's a
Yeah,
homeless kid,
yeah.
like,
Oh,
living in
dude.
squalor, fighting, clawing just for food. It's
I
really
I
incredible how it's written. It's really good. You may I
I
God, I wanna reread it now. It's
it is a good book. It is a really, really good book. I remember when
that
I
stuff
read
was
the
brutal in that
I remember
section.
when I read the chapter. Actually, boom, spoiler. We're gonna spoil this book, everybody. I'm spoiling this book. So the chapter that his family got killed, like that was like I got to that point, within the first day. So I'm home,
Right.
I'm talking to Miranda about it, and I say to her, I'm just like, well, I don't know what's gonna happen next. The chapter that I just read involved his entire family getting murdered by like magic crazy
Demons.
fucking demon people, and then they dipped. So I don't know what is about to happen with this guy. And then I read the first page to that chapter that I sent you the picture of, and I was like, well, here we fucking go. And you just watch this kid like lose his mind basically in the forest before he even gets to the village. He spends time just in the woods surviving, and he's
Mhm.
playing his lute, and he's breaking the strings, and he's still playing the lute, and it's
Dude,
like
oh,
telling you
when
in
he
detail
talks
how he's
about
feeling the music.
and when he talks about I mean, I play guitar every day. When he talks about breaking his string and not being able to replace the string, man, this guy can bring emotion. Can't
Yeah.
he? Can't he draw it out of you?
I love how the story's being told. I'm such a sucker for these types of stories that are like, it's a guy in the future that they're kind of telling about his past. The vampire
Course.
books do that, Sun Eater does that, this does
Course.
that. It's a great way to tell a story. And
Course.
you see this kid from he's like 11 on. So you're growing with him. When he becomes kind of
Course.
a badass cuz he has to survive, you start to believe in him. He is such a smooth Kava. I don't think we've said his name. Both. He's the main character.
I say Kavoth, that's how I pronounce it in my head. I think it's
I
my
I I had to listen
preferred.
to some of the audiobook as I drove, and they said Quoth. So
I'd say
that's
Kaval.
yeah,
That's the way I like it. I hear you. Anyway,
but
I was curious how you were gonna pronounce it.
he's great. He's a fun character. Like you like him instantly, so even when he gets a little cockier later on, you're just like, yeah, because he's also a smooth motherfucker. He's a
Yeah,
smooth for a
man.
15-year-old, which is the age he gets to throughout this book. He might
But
turn
it's but
16.
the
He's
smoothness is
pretty
believable
yeah,
because
well, I mean,
he lived
he
in
had a
a
crazy
true
life.
performing lifestyle, and then he's living on the streets where you have to be, you
I
have to gain a certain
love I love that he's an actor. Like he grew up an actor and he applies that to
right.
all the things that you learn about him in his youth become so important for everything he does later on. What a great main character. What a great main character. Dude, one of my favorite scenes cuz that's the thing. This book doesn't have they kind of tease you.
Action.
They make you think he's gonna go fight like the bad guys, and he doesn't really. And it tells a really good story throughout that, but you kind of don't get actiony payoffs. But you get moments of really good
They're
moments,
very this is what I'm saying
very
is
good
there's no
moments.
action scenes in that same way, but the emotional moments just like and they hit he writes them so well. I told you one of my favorite scenes in
There
any book. I don't wanna get there yet, but keep going, keep going. That
There are
just
so many moments in this book that could have been the cliche of like somebody is antagonizing our main character and he's going to be fucked because of it. And in a way he still does get fucked, but in the moment he wins. He has that class that he teaches with Hemi where the guy's just like
sick.
he's like teach this class motherfucker and then he fucking does. It's like
Yeah.
like so good. And basically by the end of the book when he uses the wind, it's just like it's such a good payoff because you've watched him just never fail. But the moment that really hit me is when he was playing for his I think they're called his
It's
pipes.
it's the
He
number one. That's the moment. That's the moment of the book. It's one of the best moments in any book I've ever read. The silver
good.
pipes.
Do
Seriously,
people
dude, it
agree on this? Do people agree on this?
yeah.
Like as a big
Yeah.
because
People that
yeah,
don't
it was probably my favorite
I've
moment of the
listened to
book.
reviews by people that despise this book, give it
Mm-hmm.
1 star, and they
Mm.
say, "But if you've ever, like, played an instrument or performed, that's even if you that scene
I've
is
never played an
so
instrument or performed and I
that
loved it. I
scene
mean, it was
is
such a
so I'm getting
callback.
goosebumps, and I haven't read it in
It was so
years,
well
and
executed,
and
so well
he's worried
executed.
about performing for the woman he loves, but also worried because he needs this money, and, I mean, the tension with him
Well
and the
he
woman.
doesn't know he's playing for the woman he loves in that moment. He doesn't know she's there then. But still, the fact that
But
he starts breaking strings and he loses himself and he connects with his fucking like broken version of himself to continue playing and play amazingly and everybody in the room weeps. Dude, I was like,
the way
what
it's
a
written, how it's
callback.
described, of how he feels, how he's receiving the audience feeling him, and how oh my god,
It has
it
the
is so
impact.
spectacular. It's
It has
spectac
it has the impact of a big action scene moment of a character
better better than
in a
most action
musical
scene moments.
performance in a
Better than most
fantasy.
action scene moments, he
Yeah,
wrote it in performing, and fuck, it is so good,
yeah.
and he builds it up
I'm glad
perfectly
people
too.
like that scene as much as
Oh,
I do.
again, people
I
that
like that a
don't
lot.
like the book, like
I
1
didn't look into
star.
this book at all, so, like, you're the
Yeah,
first person
I
I've
don't
even
look into
talked to
stuff
about
either. I this was
I
me
try
watching
not to
videos
with books.
after. But
Yeah.
man, that scene, God, I just
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
how good, right?
How good.
I
So,
know,
like,
just
that's why it didn't, like, matter so much to me that the end of the book was, like, more him and that Denna character, like, fighting
you
that
don't like Denna,
dragon
huh?
thing.
The
I
dragon
don't
scene is
know if
weird.
I like
The
Denna,
Dennis the dragon scene is one of my 2 complaints of the book.
it's
I think
kind
it's a
of like
little
a
out of
blue
place,
balls. It's a little
like,
blue
kinda thrown
ballsy.
in there also that it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Denna's an interesting character.
here's what the book does that is a good thing and a detriment in a way that, like, it really does make things go in a way that I couldn't have expected, and that's normally throughout most of the book is great. I'm just like, "Oh, wow, I didn't think we were even going toward this kind of thing at all." Like, sometimes they just leave plot points behind because it's just kinda like how life would work. Like, sometimes not everything in real life gets resolved, so you're
Of
whatever about it,
course.
and
That's
that's what's
true.
great about most of the book. But then, like, I don't know, I just feel like it's that same thing with the dragon thing, but, like, it just I don't know. I just didn't care all about that.
The dragon one, I didn't care either. I think it was like
It was
his
the end
way
of
of
the book, so I was
it was
like,
his
this
way
is
of
the
adding some
climax?
kind of action scene that
Sure.
didn't need to be there because he
I'd
didn't
say
really
the
have it in
him
the
and
same
Denna
way.
moments are good in it, especially when she gets kind of fucked up on drugs and
Yes.
says some stuff to him.
Yes.
But I don't know how I feel about her, so I just don't know if I care that much. And I thought maybe at some point the Chandrini, the fucking
Chandri.
the
I think you're
Chandrian,
close. Yeah.
The Chandrian,
Yeah.
they don't even make an appearance, and I was like, okay, you could have at least even Voldemort showed up a little bit at the end
Well,
of the first Harry
and
Potter
this
book,
is the
but I
problem.
didn't need it. I didn't need it.
Okay. This is the problem. Again, I want to say I had a really good time reading this book. One of the more visceral moments I've had reading a book ever, where I've read a lot of books, and I think back to the times that I was most sucked into a book,
Mhm.
most lost in the book. Nothing around me is happening. I'm in the book. That scene is right there with the ending of The Wheel of Time for me. In terms of how sucked in I was when I was reading it. That's how well it's written, you know? But so much of these books, where my problem is so much of these books is prepping, is laying things out, but
Mhm.
you're laying it out for a big long series that doesn't happen. You know, that's a
Or
problem.
well, at least lay it out for us. Like if you're gonna end it, if your plan is to end it in 3, you gotta end it, man.
Well,
You
now
can't
he
leave people
can't.
hanging
The
on a
problem is
fucking thread.
the reason that the book has never come out and won't ever come out is because at some point he
Nope.
probably
All the
decided
time.
I'll make this a trilogy, but
Yeah,
there's
but
almost
almost
no way to do it because the
hard
way
to
he has
make it
blue balled you through the story
sequel,
about
yeah, that
so many
same
things.
thing.
It's
It's
because he
because
was
he's
planning to
planning to
write
write
them
them
for
for
books 4, 5, 6 in future Kavoth's self, right?
Well,
What
then
he's
why
doing in the
wouldn't
present
he? You
day.
know, why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't he write more books? I mean, you have to fucking ask him that, but
Yeah.
you know when this book came out?
2007.
2007, dog. I was in the 7th grade. It was the same time Halo 3
Yeah,
came
you were
out.
playing.
That's the same time Halo 3 came out, dude. He has put
I
out
know.
one fucking book since, but puts out this guy
I know.
fucking
We
sucks.
have the
This
novellas.
guy
We have them
fucking
on the
sucks.
van.
What?
I said we
This
have
guy
the
fucking
novellas on
sucks.
the van.
He puts out side novellas, okay, but can't put out a third book. And I mean, the second book came out in a reasonable time. I think it was, I don't know, 2010?
2011. It was 4 years later.
2011! 4 years is great! 14 years? You've been jerking off for 14 years. You're writing fucking side novellas for 14 years? You can't put out your third book? You were talking shit to your... How fucking lame is this, dude? In your first book, I loved it at first. He was talking shit to his high school teacher and said, you said I'd never read anything, I'd never blah, blah, blah. Well, you wrote 2 fucking books. That's great, but you can't do this to people. Now, that's just me being a selfish bitch and wanting more books. The real problem with this guy is you have fans. They have made
Rothfuss, right?
Patrick Rothfuss. You have fans. Those fans have made you very wealthy off of 2 fucking books. Okay, this motherfucker.
Good book. First one at least.
Second book's good too.
You like it
but
better?
The second book, good, but once you know that you're not getting more, you start to see some of these delayed things as a, like, and I think looking back on the first book, it's that same way a little bit, where you're talking about Chandri and, like, you wanted a little bit more from it. I don't mind wanting more from something. Like in Wheel of Time, that happens, where you want more. But guess what? There's 14 fucking books, bud. You're gonna get it, okay? You start to really feel that in the second book, where you feel like things are dragging out a little bit, and I don't mind that. But when you know, you're never gonna get it.
It has a Wheel of Time drag, but not with the amount of books even close.
0, yeah. So then, and like, yeah, just I won't get into more than that. But
you're saying, like, say the Dragon Reborn comes out, and then let's say Robert Jordan was like, "Yeah, the next one's gonna be the last one."
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying the Dragon Reborn, because the Dragon Reborn was a third book, because Robert Jordan got to write 3.
Right.
Like, this motherfucker.
But I'm saying, like,
I'm just
story.
talking shit.
Like, I'm saying,
of course. Like, what then? What then?
Yeah.
So, but where really this guy is an absolute toolbag piece of shit. And even George Martin wrote more than 2 books. Patrick Rothfuss years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, 6, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
He says, "Hey, listen, donate to this charity. I want to raise money for charity. That's noble. And if you do, I'm going to release, if we reach this goal, I'll release the first 10 chapters of book 3." People flocked. They raised tens of thousands of dollars. He just never released it. That is so. That is
I thought
so.
it was just one chapter. Wasn't it just
I think it might have been more, even if it's one.
I
You
think it's
couldn't
one, and
release.
he didn't even give one. I think
That's
that's
how
what it is.
the book will never come out. It's
Yeah.
never going to come out. You couldn't release one chapter. I thought it was a couple, but I'm sure I'm wrong. You're
I think
telling
it is.
me
I think it's one.
you couldn't release one chapter. By the way, the first chapter of each of these books is modern day Kavoth speaking like nonsense riddles almost. Like it's not like it's actually plot in the same way that like his past is more of the plot of the book. The first chapter is less plot. It's more, it's him in the tavern. It's him in the inn talking to, what'd you say his name is?
The chronicler.
Yeah,
Devin.
the chronicler and his buddy. So it's not even something that needs like you to develop plot. Are you serious, dude? This guy is an utter piece of shit. I'm so against him. And he's one of these authors like George Martin who complains about his fans wanting more. Oh, people think it's so easy. No, motherfucker. Nobody said it's easy, but it can't be 14 years, okay? It can't be 14 years. Bad guy.
That's
Great
a long
book.
time. Great book.
14 years, dude. Dude, the time between the last book is like a 9th grader.
It is a 9th grade. Yeah, I was thinking about that today.
That's fucking crazy. And then to have the, again, I think that George Martin is another guy that, like, he can fuck off because of these kind of comments where he's like, oh, my readers, everyone's so rude to me. They're dickheads, blah, blah, blah. And, like, no doubt, but, dude, you're rich as hell from, like, being a bard, you know? So, like, be a little grateful in the way things are. But the problem is these guys keep giving expectations that their books are going to come out instead of just admitting, like, I don't know if it will ever come out because I've lost it. I've messed something up. They keep these readers on the great book though. It's a great book. I don't want to make it sound bad. I loved it. I loved when I read it.
That's the thing. People are so mad at the author because it's
You
a
don't get
double-edged
mad
sword.
if it's not great.
It's good books. They're good when like you just want some more. You want the story to be told. You're reading a book because you want a story, and it's a great setup. The first book is as far as first books go of a series. I loved it.
It's up there.
I loved it. It's really good. There are characters I love. There are characters I hate. There are characters that I want to see more of. There are so many plot threads that I want to see more of. I want to see because you really don't get the use of the magic system to a severe degree till the end of the book.
Yep.
So it's just like, oh my God, that's the thing where it takes your expectations. Like you think he's going to get a master. You think that first guy, the Ben character, Abenti, is going to be his like sensei.
Oh, the crazy one?
He never, no, like the guy that joins his group at the very beginning of the book.
Yeah.
You think like that's going to be his sensei character. Nope. Then there's another guy that's almost his sensei character. Nope. And then you meet the Elodin, the master that ends up taking him on as an apprentice. But it takes the whole book till that happens. So it's just like, you expecting these things that the apprentice would be getting trained in at least early on in the first book. No, he's got to do other shit first. He's got to play fucking loot to make money. He's poor as shit and he wants to go to school.
I like that stuff. I think that stuff's good. Good.
No, I was just gonna say for stuff that in another book I'd probably care less about. I'm really interested in making sure this guy fucking gets his bills paid.
Yeah, that's so true. It's part of what makes the silver pipe so good,
trying
right?
To get some of that paper, yeah.
But
and he still has problems.
I would be interested to some of them are his own self-making because he's a little bit of a dickhead. I'd be interested to see how you feel about the second book whenever that time comes.
It'll be a little bit, but I am going to get to it.
Yeah, I will be even more critical of Rothfuss then, after that book. But it is a great setup book. Yeah. That is my final thing. It is a great setup book with great payoff scenes.
Yes.
About stuff that no other author has ever done for me.
It's great character work.
That's impressive though. That's impressive, right? That's impressive that this guitar lute scene that we're discussing so much. I've never found a book that has anything even similar to it that makes me feel so much. And that's he deserves to be commended for that. I think that's really
that's
impressive.
Just the work. He puts great work on his main characters. There's a lot of great side characters as well. So it's just and there's a lot of them named side important characters
Yeah, like his
that you get
friends at
payoffs with,
school.
dude. His friends, Sim and fucking what's the other one's name?
I can't. I mean, it's been
Sim
a
and
long time.
Willem. Oh my
Yes,
god,
good
they
characters.
love them.
They're
They're
good
his.
characters.
They're his fucking
They're
boys,
his
dude.
dogs, right? I
They are
loved it.
such
Yeah,
good bros. They are
you
when
love a good
Dennis shows
bro.
up at the one bar and she already sees him having dinner with them and like jokes about taking him, and he's just like his one boy's just like, oh, we're sick of him. He's gonna talk about you the whole time if he just doesn't go hang out with you. So take him. It's just like fucking boys, dude. Those are
Yeah,
boys. I love that. They're never like super pissed at him when he like they rag on him, but they're not pissed at him. Love those guys. Love those guys so much.
they're great. I really wish I would have reread this to talk about it, but
Denna,
I never could have read it in a week. Denna,
I-
see, Denna
Denna's
herself,
yeah.
I don't
I'm.
know that she is a great character on
I don't
her
know if I
own,
like her. I
but
mean, I
well,
guess.
you're kind of not supposed to, right?
Yeah,
But
he's a good character for him.
their relationship together, I think, is really interesting,
They
and
work together.
also something that is not in any other books that I read. Again, he
Mhm.
deserves credit for this, that, like, this, and of course, I'm gonna say this, and you'd be like, "Well, I can name a million books." I don't know, it's just something particular about when I read this, that they are, like, 2 extremely fucked up people, um, living still living some messy lives, right? Like, even though he's at academy and he seems
Yeah.
like he's got things going for him, he lives a very messy life, and
Right.
she lives an
Yeah.
extremely messy life,
Yeah. I don't
and
know in the first book, they don't like get into what her backstory is enough.
yeah,
I get that she has some sort of backstory, but I
extreme
haven't
baggage, right?
gotten it all.
And,
Yeah. And I
yeah,
get that that's why she's
just
the way she is, but I still don't know if I like her.
but at the same time, so you don't like her, and I'm the
I
same way,
yeah.
because you want her to be more, what's the you want her to be more into him, you want her to stick around for him, you want her to be more open and truthful with him about her life. But, he's not always the most open and truthful with her either, you know?
That's
Like,
true.
he doesn't ever I mean, I think that's part of what's interesting about the character development and probably part of Patrick's own personal life, is that Kavath never actually says to her how he feels, right? I mean, that's like a huge part of it, is that he has all this
Yeah.
internal dialogue of how to communicate with her in a way
And
that, oh,
they
they
flirt.
fuck.
They
They f- do they fuck in this one or no?
not in the first one.
I don't know that they fuck in the second one. I just in my head have assumed they
You
have.
bitch, you do.
Hand to God, I don't remember the second book
There's
at
2
all.
books and you know they fuck at some point, so that must
I'm
mean they
sure
fuck
they do. I mean,
eventually.
buddy, the whole point of the thing is they will end up together eventually, I assume.
He's not
But
with
actually,
her in the present, so
what's that?
he is not with her in the present being
He's
told.
not that much with her in the second. That's
Okay,
kind of their
okay,
character plot. That's their character development. Is that
that's
have
fair.
they even kissed in the first book?
No, they cuddled one night when she was
Yeah.
drugged.
I swear to God, I swear to you, I don't know that they fuck in the second
I'll
book.
get there. I
I
don't really
believe they probably
figured
have.
they might, but
They might have, but I think it is still this thing of they can't figure out how to communicate with each other, and they can't figure out how to have a healthy relationship. And I guess that's like a broken record of a plot to some people. For me, I thought it was frustrating, but the more I thought about it, I was like, this
I
is
don't hate it.
interesting.
I don't
Yeah,
hate
it's
it either.
frustrating,
It is like
but
I feel it. That's the thing.
and
I
I
empathize with
feel
it.
it. That's what it is. I
Like
feel it
I
so
wouldn't
much.
want to be in
But
his
but the
situation.
problem is, I feel it from his perspective because you're reading his
Mhm.
perspective, and we're men,
Mhm.
right? So I
Mhm.
feel it from his perspective, and we probably have each had a little
Bitches.
bit of it in our lives, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But I like as you more so
Relatable.
see that he also is not doing the best in the relationship either, right? Like he's not
Yeah.
the best communicator in it. Yeah. I actually really enjoy that relationship because of that, because it's more complex. Even though
Yeah.
it's limited, I don't think there's that many scenes of her really.
Not a whole well, that's the thing, and that's another thing, by the time she finally showed back up in the story, it had been so long that I wasn't sure there's so many characters that show up and then they're just gone because it's just that's life, but,
Yeah.
and then it started becoming so much more about her once she did show up that I was like, I liked it better when she wasn't as involved in this as much.
I don't
But
know,
it
but
was fine.
at the
There were
same
still
time,
good
every
moments.
time she disappears, it crushed my soul a little bit, which is
little bit.
good writing, right?
Mhm.
Every time that he
And
would
she
realize
does
she
come
was
back
gone,
eventually every time, so you're
but every
never
time she would be gone, he would be crushed, and the
Yeah.
way I don't know, it really got me every time that she would disappear
'Cause you
like
feel
that.
like
That
you've
might
lived it in moments in your own life with other
I think I
things.
might have.
I think
I
that's
think I have
why
mommy and daddy
it's
issues.
it's a
What you
very
gonna do?
interesting story. Um, shit, man. Well, I only have about 5 more minutes, so I'm gonna have
Oh,
to
no.
I wanna say a couple more things
Bedtime.
about this book, and then we'll have to save, Mickey 17 because I have 5 more minutes, and then you and I have to talk about Project Hail Mary.
Yes, sir.
So who knows how long that'll take. So, but I do want to say I like the way that after the big adventure happens, he goes back to school. He's got this bully, basically, Ambrose, the rich, dickhead
Yeah.
character, who like you're just led to hate the whole book. You're always worried about what he's doing. He never really is fully successful, but he shows up and just breaks this our main character Kvothes loot. And he finally like they tease you at the beginning that there's this magic system. You say the names of things and you can use them. You say their original name, you get their power. He learned about the wind through his original guy, Abenthi. He tried to use it as a kid, almost killed him. He's gotten, he's been to university now. He still doesn't, he almost subconsciously blacks out to his like feral state, says the name of the wind, and fucking knocks this motherfucker out with the magic system. Finally, the whole book you've been waiting for him to use, and he uses on the bully that's been terrorizing him the whole series. Boom, lays him out. It's great. And then he gets in trouble. He's like in trouble for it. They do this thing where they go to court, and he basically is gonna get expelled. And you're like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And then finally, like, yeah, you're gonna get expelled, but also we want to make your rank better, actually. So, and then everybody votes for him to become better because he used this magic system that nobody ever uses, and it's a great scene. And it ends. It doesn't have these big action scenes. It just has these big moments, and I
Right.
really like that. I like the way it ended, and then it goes back to the present. And just when you think the book's over, fucking Bast goes into the chronicler's room and is like, "Motherfucker, I'm the reason you came here. You got my SOS. I need you to make him remember his life being action packed so we can get out of this shithole." And you're like, "What
Yeah.
is going on?" And I don't know. It was solid for a book that like when it was the last 100 pages and we were still dealing with the lizard. I was like, "How's this gonna
This ended
wrap
well.
up?" And it does.
Yeah.
It leaves you wanting more, and I guess if that's how the second one ends, and then you don't put out a book for 14 years, you're gonna piss some people
That
off.
is a problem, but as a book on its own, if a first book of a series, it
Yeah,
is good.
yeah.
Now, with that, I'm gonna go shave, and you're gonna go get a haircut,
Well,
right?
here's the thing. I gotta change
Before
my
Hail
shirt.
Mary?
I
Yes,
gotta
and
shave.
you'll get a haircut.
You should. Well, no, I'm not gonna get a haircut, Jake. I'm gonna squeeze. I'm gonna grow my hair and my beard, and I'm gonna change my shirt. I think you look good with a
Alright.
hat on. I think we should dress the part, and we're gonna talk Project Hail Mary, dude. I think it's gonna be
Yeah,
a
you're
good
right, I'm gonna
time.
grow my facial hair out.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm just gonna squeeze like one of those fucking troll dolls that
Jesus, how dumb am I? How much is it a long day
I
for
bet the
me?
shitters don't think we'll actually do that. Wait till we get
Bet you I
back.
fucking will,
I
boy.
bet you I will too. They're
Bet you
probably
I
thinking we're
will.
crazy.
Try me.
Just you wait and see. And we're not even gonna talk about how we proved you wrong. We're just gonna move on because that's how fucking cool and modest we are. Uh, so Jake and I, we decided to collaborate on a book, a single book, not a series book, not the start of a series, but just one book that we wanted to both read and talk about tonight on the show. And after we took a little time, we couldn't quite pick one. Jake figured out what that book was. And Jake, what was that book?
Well, we needed a standalone
A
finally.
standalone, that's the word.
We needed to change up the pace a little bit. We dive into these big series, and sometimes it's hard to talk about when you dive into series because you can't just cover. I mean, you can read 6 out of 10 books of a series, but you don't know if it's perfect or not,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you don't finish it.
Mm-hmm.
So we did Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I think it's my favorite standalone book ever.
Ever.
I think so.
Interesting.
I think so.
Wow.
This is the
It's
second
really
time I've read
good.
it. It's
Yeah.
really good.
It's pretty goddamn good.
I couldn't believe I read it
It's
either 2 or
fun.
3 years ago, and I couldn't believe how invested I was. Even like I know what happens, and I was equally as invested this
Yeah.
time. I read it crazy fast, and I
Yeah.
haven't been reading for the last month and a half.
You did read it pretty quick.
I read the
I thought
last
I was reading
350
it quick.
pages in a day.
Yeah.
So Yeah. Yeah, I love
thought
it.
yeah, that's the thing. So I had never read any of this guy's books. Braden talked about Artemis on that one episode. I have seen the movie The Martian.
I read
Pretty
The Martian.
pretty decent. But
I
I'm
don't
sure that
love the book.
okay,
I don't
but,
love The
well,
Martian.
you know what?
Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting because you
Mhm.
hated Artemis, but this was the book that made you go,
So good though,
it
man. He's
it
so good. This book is so good.
before we start kinda getting into what the book's about and stuff, though, I do wanna say that, this book has the energy of you know how sometimes you always say that you gotta take your critic lens off and just have a good time with a book?
Fun. Yeah.
It has that feeling, while also, I feel like being critically just a good book as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's why
It's
I think it's
fun.
one of the things that made it so rereadable as well is exactly what you said, that it is just fun. Even if you're reading it critically, it's
Mhm.
fun. I
Yeah.
can't name many other books that are fun where I mean, the writing's good, the
Mhm.
science is good and accurate from what I've
Yeah.
been told.
Mhm.
My
You'd
college
hope.
no, so
Yeah.
my college roommate read it, and
Yeah.
he's a chemist, he's way smarter than me, and
Mhm.
he told me, he's like, "Yeah, this is" like,
I bet.
it even touched a
He's who
different
this
nerve
book
for
is
him.
for. Yeah.
Yeah, but people like us yeah, I mean, we'll talk
Yeah.
about what he does so well in it, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just, it is a fun book, I recommend it to everybody, it would be one of my first recommendations to people if they were gonna read one book,
I
what to pick up.
recommend not even like, if you're listening to this podcast, we're gonna give a lot away, we're gonna get to spoilers, but if you decide to quit now and just read a solid book, I would recommend not even reading, like, the flap in the opening of the book, like, just
I
start
mean,
the
I
book.
don't do that ever,
Just
yeah,
well, here's the thing, I didn't, and then I started the book,
makes
and
it better.
I got to the point where here's where a little bit of the spoilers. Very light though, it's very beginning, but he remembers his name. But at the beginning of the book, right at the opening thing, it tells you this guy's name. But I'm glad
By
I
the
didn't
way,
see that
that's
until
30 pages into the book, it's a very,
yeah,
very light
yeah,
spoiler,
yeah.
yeah,
It's a very light spoiler that you get this
yeah.
guy's name, but
It is a great book,
that's
though,
part of
Andy
the charm of
Weir,
it. Yeah.
man, did he before we get into the plot, just man, has
Hmm.
he progressed as a writer from book to book to book. It's
Yeah.
really amazing that, like, in those first couple books, it has pieces of this,
Hmm.
and then as you read this, you're like, "Fuck," he really put it all together, like,
Hmm.
his skills of
It's like you felt him get
science,
comfortable.
plot,
Science.
character, I think that's where The Martian is really lacking for me, is that I just didn't give a damn about the character, I really
Okay.
didn't. In the book, I'd never seen the movie, that's how I felt about the book.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I guess I'll have to hear what you say. I love the main character in this book, and I love the other characters in this book. They're so good, and you care about them so much. Like, truly, when I read The Martian, if he would have died in the end of The Martian,
Yeah.
spoilers for The Martian, that I wouldn't have cared. And in this
Yeah.
book, I'm very, very, very invested in what happens. And I think
Yeah.
that's hard to do sometimes in science fiction a
In
little
the
bit,
book in
where
general.
it's so much based around science and what's happening in the world that maybe characters take a side step or take a
Hmm.
back seat to that. And I don't think it does that here. So it's just really a triumph from him. He hasn't written a book since, which I'm not happy about, but really a
Yeah,
triumph
I'm
from
but you
him.
know what? I feel like this is a guy that I mean, just thinking about the science in this book, like, he must do so much to prep to write something like that, and you know, that's his type of story. We're gonna get another thing like this is his next book.
Yeah, I think too, like, the more I think about this book, man, it is a really I mean, there's numerous plots happening. It's not an easy book to write, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's a good story
I
on
feel
top of everything else, right? It is a really good story,
I
and
think
I'm
it
sure he was very involved in the movie, so
well, I think it's gonna make for a really good movie, like,
I
I'm
said that to you
excited to
already. I said
see
that
the
to you when you
movie.
weren't finished with the book yet, that I
Yeah.
said I think it's gonna be a great movie.
I
I
think you
think
said this
it's
to me before I even started the
I
book.
think it's gonna be a very, very, very
Here's the thing,
successful
it could
film.
be a very good movie, or they could just not
See,
get it at all. There's a
my
lot there that's very,
my
like
hope for it is because I've never seen The Martian, but people fucking loved it. I mean, I think it got nominated, or at least, Matt
y
Damon got nominated for an Oscar, maybe?
probably, yeah, something like that.
So, I
It
think
it won some shit.
if they were able to do that with The Martian, I think they'll be able to do that here. I really do, and especially because I'm sure the budget is even larger knowing that his first book turned into a movie was so successful, I'm
Yeah.
sure that they're very willing to say, "Here's the money." My only concern, but I'm not really that concerned about it, is when you're reading that book, does the main character give you Ryan Gosling vibes? Because it doesn't give me. But I think he's a great actor, so I think he'll do it.
I
But
could see since I already knew that it was gonna be Ryan Gosling in that movie, I kinda started trying to look for that, and I was like, I
uh-huh.
could see it. It's not like I
It's
listened
not
to
horrible.
so at the near the end of the book, near 20, I think 25, 26,
The very end, okay.
I listened to those audiobook. The guy doing the audiobook, I couldn't picture he kinda was like, "Oh, this guy's voice
Oh,
is
okay.
very d" so, I could believe Jake Gyllenhaal over the guy that read the audiobook for 2 chapters. Not that that
Well,
guy did a bad job, he did a great job, but,
yeah, but I hear what you're saying. It just
he
didn't
sounded like
exactly
Tom
fit for you.
Hanks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was
But
like,
man,
"This ain't it."
and I'll say this too, man. So I think too where he really steps up here is in The Martian. I like science as a hobby for myself because it's obviously not what I do professionally, but he really takes a big step up here where in The Martian there's just like large swaths of science info dumping, it feels like.
Okay.
And in this book, man, it is so perfectly integrated into the story where you find it super interesting. For me, I don't know about you, like, I found every bit of science that is in this book interesting, and I wanted to learn it. I
Yeah.
I I just I just think he did very well at and even if there's parts where you were like, "Okay, I'm not that into this," it's so minuscule, like,
Mhm.
it's so broken up in there that it's never bothersome.
It's very tastefully planted throughout the writing of the
It's
every
good.
chapter.
It's really
Um,
impressive.
it is, and I wanna dive into that a little deeper, but I think we should probably talk a little bit
Okay,
at least the
sorry.
generic basis of the plot, and
You
then
give it.
we'll do it. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so, I don't usually do the plots, but I'm gonna do it for this one. So
I can do
this
it if you want. It's
No,
up to
I'll
you.
do it, I'll do it, I'll do
Okay,
it.
I'll fill in. I'll
I
fill
kinda
in if
think
that makes you feel
I think
better.
I need to. I think I need to get it out.
Uh-huh.
This is the story all about how this guy's life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how this guy became prince of a station called Hail Mare. Um, whew, I pulled that out of my ass like a rabbit out of a hat, dude. Um, so this guy, you are thrown into this story of a guy just waking up on a spaceship in no
You don't even
longer our
know it's in a spaceship,
galaxy. You don't even know it's in a spaceship. Yeah, oh my god, the way this thing
right?
starts. Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Um, fuck. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It just made me think of so much stuff I just want to talk about the beginning of the book about. But this guy basically finds out that he is the only survivor of a mission to send a guy to a different galaxy to figure out how to save the planet Earth from an infestation that is destroying our sun. And he has to find out how to stop it. And he doesn't remember any of this at the start of the book. And he slowly has to figure out that he is Earth's fucking savior. And it is a banger of a book. I don't want to give anything that's the premise. Guy wakes up and you're going back
Yeah,
and forth.
that's yeah,
It does a very here's what
excellent.
happened, here's what's
Mhm.
happening.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah,
guy's
so you
slowly waking up from amnesia throughout the book.
and at first you don't know why, and he doesn't know why he's in space,
Yeah, dude, he
and
doesn't know at
and
all.
it's doing these flashbacks to fix his amnesia, showing
Mhm.
when Earth first learned of the, essentially fungus infestation that is eating the sun.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it
yeah.
starts off with, his first flashback, he's, dreaming, trying to, you're getting aware that he was put in a coma for a reason to come to this area that he's in. You know he at least is a guy waking from a coma, so you can believe that his memories will slowly start to come back, and that's how the book kinda goes back and forth, and the first thing he starts to remember of his life is just,
He's a school teacher.
he's a school teacher, so you're slowly
A junior
figuring
hi
out
like a middle school science
yeah,
teacher.
how this
So then it's the
guy
story of how the middle school science teacher ends up being the last man savior of Earth.
Yeah.
But
And
it's believable, right?
it's so believable. It's so
And
good
for
from
honestly,
beginning to end.
for me, just reading it the second time, the flashback stuff is better than the main story up until about halfway through the book. It's that good. The flashback stuff is that good of how he got there.
Mhm.
It is. It's so good, man.
Oh, and it's always even when the stuff going on in the present is happening and it cuts away for the past stuff, I am like, "Ooh, I wanna know how that situation's gonna end," but I do wanna know where this like, I wanna know how he ends up on that ship.
So
And boy, do they play with your emotions the whole
the
time until
past
you
stuff
find out.
revolves around where I find it's all about how Earth is responding to this infestation.
Mhm.
And he is pulled into it because he has a PhD in biology
Yeah.
and he wrote a paper um, about possible alien life. And that is how he got pulled into it.
Yeah.
And
He wrote a
he becomes
paper
a
in
large,
college.
yes. And he becomes a large part of the mission to save the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. It's
But as like an
so
administrative role, a scientific role and an administrative role, he's not supposed to be on the ship,
Mhm.
which you don't learn exactly how that happens until very late in the book, but
Yeah.
it's good though, right?
And just when you think you know how it's gonna play out, every time you're like, "Okay, from here, I see where it's going." It's like, "Oh, fuck. I didn't think it was gonna go like that."
No.
So this infestation that takes over the ship is called astrophage. And the way they addressed this was so fun because it starts with him just living his life when he's getting the flashbacks, and all we know is there's some sort of like problem with the sun, and then we think it's alien. Like they start to make you feel like, oh, this is an alien invasion, but then it becomes this very realistic type of alien invasion, like this
Yep.
very minute thing, this thing on such a small level is causing a problem, and the way they describe how it works is so interesting. For a guy who doesn't understand science shit, like, outside of a high school education of it,
Mhm.
terms, words, things like that, I still had a ball reading through all that. Like, it
Every
was
bit of
just
it.
fun. Like, the main character is cool, so he makes science sound more cool
Yeah,
than
he's like really excited about it, right?
yeah. Oh, he's
That's just
so
cool.
excited about it. And you buy that he's, like, as smart as he is.
True.
So because you're in his head the whole time, it's told through his perspective. So you're like, "Yeah, I can buy that this guy can figure it out," because I've been listening to his thoughts for the past however long I've been reading this book.
Yeah. All the
I
past yeah, good.
no, I love that character. I
Just
love the way the book
all the
is written.
past stuff, I'm trying to put off the present stuff because that's where I think the more big spoilers are, but all of the past stuff is super it's where it's a different kind of science fiction too from the rest of the book where it's showing how Earth would respond to something like this.
Mhm.
I found all that so interesting, man. I
Yeah.
really did, and I
Yeah.
thought her name's escaping me. What is the name of the woman
Strat?
in charge? Yes, Strat. There's a
Strat.
character that is put in charge of essentially a world organization of herself to solve this issue,
Mhm.
and all of the world governments have come together, and she is in charge of it. And she is who finds him and recruits him to it. But like, and they've solved technical issues along the way of okay, how are we going to get a ship that far outside of the solar
Mhm.
system? We've never done that before, and what
Yeah.
are we going to send up with them? And how are we going to get the power to get there? And man, it's so cool. Like,
I mean, they
there's
make it so believable
mhm.
overall. Like, you're just like,
But
"Yeah."
that's where I say it's a hard book to write is because all of those little
Oh,
elements coming
yeah.
into it are so
Every
good, right?
single that's what I mean, like, this guy must take time on his books because, like, even if you know this shit, I feel like you have to really make sure you got it right because
Yeah. Um,
everything going on in the present and most of the stuff going on in the past are based around scientific equations being correct and
yeah.
being, like, mapped out for the things they're gonna do.
Like
And when there's a
like
problem, oh, do they go into it about how they're gonna
yeah.
solve that
Like,
problem and
one of those problems that's really good is they're trying to send all of Earth's knowledge up on the ship, right? And
mhm,
included in that is scientific instruments because 'cause they're like, we're not sure what they're going to need, but we wanna make sure the astronauts
mhm.
have everything they could
It's
possibly need.
Project Hail Mary. We're giving them
So
everything we got.
everything. So their plan at first is to send every scientific instrument up, and they say, well, okay, how are you going to have these instruments work in zero gravity? And Strat says, I have literally all the money in the world. I will develop.
World's ending. We gotta stop it.
I will develop zero gravity technology. And they pull a guy out of jail who says, no, that's not this guy. Sorry, that's the guy for the Sahara Desert. Different guy. Sorry.
Yeah, still
this
though,
guy.
Still,
this person is
the way they gather the Avengers in this book.
So, but this guy says, yeah, the problem is every scientific instrument, even if you make them, they break, and we've tested all these instruments that we currently have for millions of hours. So what you have to do is build a ship that can simulate gravity, and here's how we're gonna do it. And the person was like, yeah, that's just my idea. And Strat says, oh no, now you're on the team. You don't have a choice.
You're on board too.
It's like a Manhattan Project where everybody's recruited and you don't have a choice.
Yep.
It's really neat. No, the guy from jail, his job was to learn how to breed astrophage at an extreme level so that they had rocket fuel to go to a different solar system.
Because astrophage, even though it's destroying the sun, its power level is off the charts. They could use it
as fuel.
Yeah.
Right. Very cool as well. A very, very cool idea from the author.
The astrophage, we're just going to talk about it as a MacGuffin through most of this podcast, but it is a really fucking cool concept.
Yeah, the truth is we're both too stupid to talk about it scientifically.
But honestly, the astrophage is the real main character of this book.
Super cool. Well, not my main character. My main character hasn't been discussed yet.
Right, yeah, astrophage. Yeah. But go on. Sorry, I kind of jumped.
No, I just think the past stuff is really neat, and I think it's really fun. Very believable. Doesn't go too far, and it gives you it. I'm usually a guy that likes as much detail as possible in books, but he gives these scenes super quick, super rapid. They're like flashes, but they're in detail enough that you enjoy it, and it's never bogged down. I mean, the pace of the book is just unbelievable, right?
Yeah, sometimes I think I expect it to really drag scenes out, and it's just like
it doesn't have
we did it.
I truly don't think there's a single second of that book that is too long. Yeah, there's no notes. There's nothing I would take out of it, or nothing I would add.
No, he cuts
maybe
out a lot
one.
of
There's
where
one
there
thing
could
in
be
the
fat,
end.
he cuts it out.
There's one thing in the end I would probably add, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh,
that I just would like to see. But nothing wrong with the end. It's great. Yeah.
I don't know how to talk much more without spoiling.
I think we have to.
So from this point forward, we gave you a premise. We gave you kind of an idea. We're gonna go into spoilers. We're gonna talk about this movie or this book with each other. So
movie's filmed, by the way. The movie's filmed already.
I know. I saw it was at they were showing off stuff about it at CinemaCon this year.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know how long it'll be, but I don't know how long until it comes out. Rather.
I think it comes out next January.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I think it's sometime in 2026. I've done a little looking into it since.
Wait, so you're saying in 6 months? Or 7 months?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, something like that.
That'd be awesome. That'd be great. I was expecting longer.
Yeah, I think it's coming out soon.
That'd be great.
Okay, so
yeah.
This book, it had so many moments where I just got I thought I got where I remember being at the beginning of the book and being like, yeah, I see where we're going. This should be a fun romp. How is there still this much left of the book? And then I would get further in the plot and be like, oh, we're going in totally different directions. So they tease you with astrophage because they treat it as an alien at first, and it technically is. It's an organism that is alive that's transferring from Venus to the sun, stealing pieces of the sun to go fucking breed and multiply. And so once you've learned that that's the alien that we're dealing with, you're like, that's the alien. This isn't an alien type of book. And then out of fucking nowhere, a fourth way into the book, in the present, he just meets another alien spaceship with the coolest character of the book.
Awesome.
And you believe it because you're like, they slowly feed you into it. You don't know what's going on.
Yep.
You're almost still not believing that he's meeting an alien up until the point that he meets an alien.
Yeah, I think it's also what he does the most brilliant in my opinion, and he does it quickly, succinctly, and believably, is their communication with one another. You know, that he builds how they're able to communicate and he builds it out, and
Mhm.
it's so believable, it's so cool, and it's
This
so good.
whole book should be full of stuff that the average reader would be like, "This is boring shit. Why am I reading this?"
Not
But it's fun. He makes it fun to read
so
about.
good.
Learning speech, learning and, like, so much time passes. Like, he's out in space. Time is just a passing constantly.
Mhm.
And you're like, "Sure, why not?" You
Yeah.
know? So you believe when they start to communicate with each other so easily because it's like, it's just been these 2 motherfuckers for
With nothing else to
months.
do, by the way,
Mhm.
with nothing else to do,
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
working with each other to try to figure out this issue because the alien, you learn his home sun has the same issue that, Earth has, right?
Mhm.
That their son's being eaten as well, so this alien is out here also trying to figure out how to
Rocky.
eliminate yeah,
Rocky. Oh,
Rocky, and you
he's
learn
the
that Rocky's whole crew also died. Another super interesting point is that, you know, this is big spoilers, that
we're in spoiler.
Rocky has no eyes, and Rocky uses
Rocky's an alien.
echolocation, and
Mhm.
Rocky's the alien, and he has no eyes and uses
He's like a spider
echolocation,
creature
and that's a rock.
made of rock.
And he his whole crew died on the way there, and he didn't understand why his whole crew died, and he didn't, and it's because his alien race doesn't understand, gamma rays and cancer because they're and you learn how their planet can't get gamma rays because they have such a strong atmosphere made of ammonia that it can't penetrate the magnetic field.
Yeah.
So they've never had cancer, they've never dealt with gamma rays, they've never left the planet. So
And they
everybody
all
dies
got it.
except for him
Yeah.
on the way there. It's just
And they explain why
scientific.
he's the only one who didn't, and
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
god.
Yeah.
It's just stuff that like I don't
He
know.
covers
That's
all
the
his
kind of stuff.
bases.
But that's the kind of stuff that doesn't need to be in the book that you just are like, "This is why it's good. It's really good.
It
It's not
he's
just the story, it's the little stuff like that."
it's such good detail that doesn't take
Mhm.
away from the pacing. Like, I wouldn't say this book is heavily written detailed in detail, but he does. Like, he gives you a lot of detail. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my god, I didn't know what to expect with Rocky the whole time. Because like, through a lot of this book, you're like, "Okay, our main character knows he's gonna die, he's on a death thing," but you're
Yes,
also
we should
like,
say that.
yeah,
Yes, we should say I even said that, is
it's a
that he
one-way
only has
trip.
enough fuel to get there, and they
Yeah.
built
Beetles.
these drones that would send back the information from the ship to Earth
Mhm.
because they don't have enough fuel to get home. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, you're playing with our emotions there. You kinda could believe the same thing could be said of Rocky, so you're worried Rocky's gonna die. You're worried about death the whole time. The way the story's written, you're kinda like, "I bet our main character doesn't die because he's the one telling the story." Um But you still think it might happen, and they just play around with that for so long, so long. There's a whole fucking action scene that's gonna be, like, the biggest action part of the movie, I'd say, where they're on that other planet, and
Mhm.
Rocky almost dies, all that shit happens on the spaceship.
Yeah, main
Um,
character almost dies as well.
so you're like but, you know, it's the type of book where you're just kinda like, "Oh, no, everything's kind of been other than the end of the world, going okay for everybody." I'd
Yeah, he's
believe if
doing
the
great at
character
that point, right? Everything's
died.
working for him.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then he didn't, and it was like, "Oh, thank God." And they kept back to work, and then they say goodbye, and you're like, "Oh, the sadness I felt about this guy dying is now sad again because they're saying goodbye."
Yeah.
But you're also like, "There's still about 100 pages of book left.
Yeah. What is gonna
What
happen
is
now?
still gonna happen?" And they
Yeah, and at
just
this point, I was pretty convinced that the way it was gonna go, just because 'cause I'm boring and bland, I was like, "Oh, he's gonna get to home to Earth, and he's gonna teach teach 'em about the aliens, and then they're gonna be able to communicate
yeah,
once, like, from
yeah,
Earth to that planet, and that'll be, like, the big happy ending." Boy, is Andy Weir much more imaginative than me.
yeah.
Way more exciting than me, right?
Yeah, way more. Way, way, way more. And you
Yeah.
know what? I saw, like, seeds of it throughout, and I was really happy that that's what that the ending, how it decided to end was where
Yeah.
it went. I was like, "This is fine. Like in another book, this might be a weird
Oh, I thought it was
ending,
wonderful.
but this is
I thought it was
yeah. My
awesome.
fine, I say, I give it the pass completely. I loved it. I
Yeah.
love that he goes back. Once again, spoilers all the way. We're hopping around. I just he goes back and saves Rocky. Like that's how the end of the last 100 pages is like. This guy's going back home. Everybody lives. All
He's
the
gonna
world
be a
gets to live.
hero. He's gonna be the hero of Earth.
Finds out that something happened where Rocky probably lost all his fucking fuel because
Rocky's gonna die.
Rocky's
Rocky's not
gonna
gonna be able to save
die.
his planet.
Mm-hmm.
But he still has the drones to send back to Earth. So
Mm-hmm.
his choices are he can go back to Earth and be the great hero that everybody loves and worships, but he knows Rocky's gonna die and all his people are
boy
gonna
that he
die.
just spent the past few months with. They really build the
Bonded.
brothership of these guys. I
Mhm.
love that they're just both these dorks that are just like, let's
Such
be
perfect
friends.
dorks
We need
together.
to be bros for life. And
Mhm.
you're kind of presented throughout the not so much. The ending of the book kind of gives you more of this, but it does tell you our main character is a coward, and one of his
Mhm.
things is he's a huge coward. And I think that his ultimate character moment, because you don't know he's a coward till the end. He kind of seems brave for everything he's doing until you find out actually he's a chicken shit that didn't want to come, didn't want to
He was
save the
forced
world.
to
And
go.
like you
He was
totally get
drugged.
why, but like, he struggles with being a coward and he decides to go back, sacrifice himself, knows full well at this point that there's no way he could possibly live. And
Yeah.
he goes and he saves his boy.
Yeah.
And something that could be detrimental in a different book, but I still liked for this book, even when things were going wrong, I always believed that it was gonna be like, there's nothing that goes wrong that sticks in this book. It's like everything is gonna be okay. They always solve it. Like even when he goes to save
Yeah.
Rocky, he's like, I don't have any food, Rocky. I can't even live on your planet. Rocky's like, sure you can. We could do this. And you're like, all right. I mean,
I thought for sure once he turned around that he was going to die, and that was gonna be, like, his heroic moment was gonna be that on both planets, they were, like, had statues of him, essentially. Do you know what I
wow,
mean?
that would have been cool. I would have liked that. But
No, this is better. This
this
is
is
way
better.
better.
This is, but
Yeah.
dude, oh my
This is
God.
almost perfect for me. I think
When
it is. I mean, the only thing is, so he gets back to the planet, to Rocky's planet, and that's where he lives out his days.
yeah.
And it's cool. They explain how he's able to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and he learns. And he's at this point, he's been there for years and years
Yeah,
and
like
years, like
20, like he's in his
decades. Yeah,
50s now. I think
he's
he's
old.
20. Yeah.
He's older, and really nice moment. You got to think at this point, he has no idea if Earth made it or not,
Yeah,
and
that's another thing
they
the book does. I feel like we haven't talked about. Like they explain like how Earth is still gonna get super fucked. Like they're gonna
fucked.
save it, but it's gonna get super fucked. And the
Yeah,
whole
that they're trying
time,
to save it. Yeah.
the author doesn't know what happens. Like we even as readers never find out what happened in this version of Earth. Um,
Mhm.
but the whole time they're kind of feeding it to you like it could be possible, or it could be fucked right now. It could be
Yeah, it says
absolutely fucked
repeatedly that
by
no
now.
matter what, even if Hail Mary works, it takes 13 years to get there.
Mm-hmm.
The information takes 13 years to get, the ship takes 13 years to get to this other system. And
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna take 13 years for the information to return back. So that's 26 years of the sun
Yeah.
decaying and not working at a level that we're expecting.
And they
And
fucked some of the Earth themselves trying to, like, give the
to
Earth a
save
little
it.
extra
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So then at the
God.
end, I think it's perfect how it's done though, that he has been waiting, and you can imagine like, him wondering if it's worth it that he lives on this alien planet,
Mhm.
probably not living the best life. And he learns that they're able to read the sun,
Mhm.
and that it's back to normal.
Yeah.
So, and he has this profound moment of crying and realizing that his life was meaningful because he
Very
was able to
meaningful.
save Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the only
And
thing I wish I would have seen, and it's okay, and I understand why he didn't do it, and it's profound the way it is. I wish I could have gotten like one scene from Earth,
Mm.
about like how what's his
Yeah.
name? Ryan? Is his name Graves? Am I making that up? What's
Grace.
his name? Grace, Ryan
Yeah.
Grace.
Yeah, yeah.
That just one scene from Earth to see how he is like viewed there. I think that would be neat. But I understand
Yeah.
why they didn't do it. It's probably
I mean,
more
it would be
and more impactful in a
He
way
would
to
have
let
to
you
be there to
imagine.
know. It'd be weird for the book to go and
Yeah.
explain something that he wasn't
I
there
would
for.
also like to know what happened to Strat because I think that's a great moment too.
Yeah.
That at one point when she's forcing him onto the ship that he doesn't want to go on,
Yeah.
she says, "Hey, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life in jail for what I've done, but it's
Yeah.
worth it because I'm gonna save the planet."
Yeah.
I thought that was neat too. But the ending's satisfying, man. I cried twice. So
I love that
both
at the
times I read it.
very end he's a teacher
How great,
on that
right?
plane. I was like,
It's
beautiful.
perfect.
Way to like
It's like a shot, like
every like little thing gets a payoff, I feel like. Every
it
little
does.
moment gets some kind of payoff.
It is really like a I really do hesitate to say it. It is like a perfect book. I don't like
Just
standalones, man. I struggle with them. I really do. And I understand they're good and people love them and it's just not it's a me thing. It's a me issue. It is like I just oh my goodness. It's just because there's just so much that happens and it's the character you're so invested and it's only 400 something pages. It's not a huge book,
very
you
invested
know.
very quick. Like within the first chapter, as soon as you find out that, because like it starts and you're not aware that he doesn't know what's going on. He's kind of like being sarcastic with the robot as if he knows it. So
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this is like a futuristic thing, right? And then it was like, oh, this guy doesn't know who he is or what's going on.
What's going on at all?
What is going on? So it sucks
Yeah.
you in really quick. It's not a super long book. Like it's a shorter book. I read it in a week and a half, and that's with taking
But so
breaks.
much happens.
So much happens. So much happens. When I called you last week. It was right after I had read the chapter where they had discovered the other planet and had found out that Astrophage had um
A predator.
a predator, and that's
Yeah.
why all this was happening. I was just like, this is so fucking good. When I read that, I was like, this is so fucking good.
She made water
God,
go up my
this
nose.
is like one, not only does it find them a solution to the problem, but it also gives them a solution to why there is a problem. So you're just like,
Mhm.
oh, this is so well
Yeah,
done.
there's no stone left unturned, right?
No,
Yeah.
no. And God, I don't know, I didn't see
I
it
knew you'd
going in
love
that
it.
direction, and
I
when
just
it
knew
did,
you'd love it.
I had a really good time, man. I like I said, I texted you about as soon as I started. I read about 75 pages the first day I read it, and I was just like, yeah, I'm into this. This is fun. This is fun as I'm like reading, I'm reading Sun Eater, which is a lot heavier, more, detailed writing type of space. So a lot of like the things that they're talking about kind of go together in a weird way. But it was nice to have that, as like a side piece as I'm reading through a series.
I knew you'd love it.
I
I
really
read it
did.
I mean,
I
again, I
really
read
did.
it this is the second time I've read it, and I read it in 3 sittings.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I believe it. It's like it sucks you in, and like just when a chapter ends and it goes to like the past or the present, and you weren't expecting it, you're just like, well, I got to see where this goes. Like I
It's
got to
so
get through
easy.
this to get back to that, and now I'm like, oh, but this was good too. Ah,
And, it's giving me a horrible book hangover because it's just so easy to read, and it's so exciting the whole time that
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
reason
That's
it's
hard to find. That is hard to find.
extremely highly rated as well, you know? And I mean, they're making it into a movie very quickly, right? I mean, it only came out 4 years ago. So, if the movie's
Yeah,
done and about to come out in the next 6, 7 months,
yeah.
that means they started making it within 2 years of it
Especially
coming
for
out.
like a science fiction, because even though it's based in reality, there's a lot of effects that are gonna have to go into this
I
movie.
don't know how they're gonna do it. I hope they do it well.
I'm very interested. Like I said, I'm this everything going on in the book. It's really well done as a book. I worry, I worry if it's going to be, not easily adaptable
Yeah.
because there's
I'm
so many things that are
assuming
just
that
thoughts.
he is on the um that Andy Weir is on the team making the
I,
movie, which
I
would
think
make me
so.
think that I'm sure that they'll do some kind of like journal for Ryan Grace when he's in space, and that's how they'll get some of his thoughts out in some way, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I have very high hopes for it because I think it's so good. Like, yeah, I would struggle to find any standalone books that can compete with that.
It's got these little arcs. I think that's what makes it so. Every little arc has its own little payoff and its own little like. It's him alone on the ship finding his ship arc. Let's just go through the present. And then it's, "Oh, I made it to the sun, and I think I'm seeing another spaceship arc,"
Mhm.
which bleeds into, like, meeting an alien that's becoming my friend, which becomes, like, them trying to save the world arc, and then it's they found the other planet arc. You know what I mean? It's just got so many arcs.
Everything's a
It's
payoff. Yeah,
475 page
it's
book.
just so satisfying.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. But I'm struggling to read anything else because of it. I mean, what else do you say? Like, I don't know. Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about really, special effects wise is how they make Rocky
I do th there's a
any and how they're gonna make him, in the book, it gets to a point, and I think it's well done, where there's not a time skip, but they make it doesn't say, "And now 2 months have passed," but where there's
Yeah.
clearly that it shows them building up to being able to understand each other, and then a jump happens where they just can understand each other,
Yeah.
which is good, right? It keeps the pace of the book flowing. How
Yes.
are they gonna make Rocky be able to talk, you know? Like, how are they gonna make it to a point where
So this is my theory, and I kind of first I had the theory, and then I listened to the audiobook, and I was like, now I really think they're gonna do it. So in the audiobook, whenever Rocky spoke, he had like it just sounded like it had some sort of like monitor thing talking through like that. Like he had developed something that Rocky like spoke through. And I just feel like
Okay.
that's how you would do that. Like just
Yeah,
make him
maybe they're
Rocky's
gonna
an
change.
engineer. He can
Yeah, maybe he'll
engineer.
make something that yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be
that's
okay with that.
he needs
Just
to
because I don't know
talk
how
because
else you're gonna portray it.
yeah, how he speaks is so much his character that it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
every question ends with the word question.
yeah. Until
Yeah.
it cuts to the future. Like I love at the end when he like could speak English, like could speak way, but like he stopped at saying question. He could say
Right.
fist bump.
Right.
The humor in this book is so like some people it not be might always be for. It does have like Marvel quippiness to it, but like it is still
It's
really funny. It
but
is
this is where I'm
funny.
saying he did a big jump from The Martian because I thought The Martian's humor was not good.
Okay.
And in this book, it's not that much different, it's just done so much better.
Yeah.
Eh I don't find it to be a problem at all in the book, I think
No,
it's all super
I
fun.
liked it a lot, like, whenever like, there's some, like, lame humor in it that's, like, fine, but, like,
But he's a nerd.
you respect that lame humor because when the actual humor happens, you're like, "Okay, this is actually really fucking funny."
Yeah. And he's a
Um
nerd, it's supposed to be lame, right?
Oh, yeah, totally, absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
book where they talk about fucking science mumbo jumbo for most of it. Like, I was kinda introducing this to one of my patrons to, like, maybe have her read next, and then I started thinking, like, because I think some people maybe too much science talk might be too much, like some people. You know what
Maybe.
I mean? Even though
I
he
don't know.
makes it tasteful, I still think some people might be like, too much talk of like fucking atoms and
Mhm.
hydrogen and nitrogen and blah 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 blah. I don't feel that way personally, but you know, you, when you just know some people that you think that
Mhm.
stuff might not be for.
Yeah, I got you.
There's a lot of this book that I am looking forward because there's so many things that I felt like I wasn't smart enough to actually visualize. Like I want to see
Okay.
what the Hail Mary looks like. I don't know if I fully
I've got
understand
that one in my for some reason, the first
the
time that was
look of
explained to
this
me, it's one
thing.
of my, I actually was just talking to Tori about this, and I think he does a great job of explaining how that ship works. Um,
Yeah, I think he does too. I just need to see it to be sure if I'm
yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because there's so
I
much where it like flips back and forth. There was a point where they were talking about the ability for it to like break in half to like make the
Yeah, the
gravity
middle splits in half, and then the
where I
front
thought the book,
piece rotates. Yeah, the
yeah,
nose is now facing the butt end,
I need to
and
see
then
all of that.
thrusters go and spin the craft so that gravity can exist because it's spinning. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what that looks like because so things like that, I really just want to actually see, how
Yeah.
they represent Xenonite, which, there's
I'm interested how they do that as well to make it yeah.
just seeing Astrophage or Phage is there's a lot that I think the book does a great job that I was able to give myself a visual of a lot of things, most of it, but I am still interested to see what it could look like in a movie.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be great. I mean, I hope it's really big.
We got to go see it together.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I love that idea.
We should. Yeah, we definitely should.
4.5 on Goodreads. Love that. That's very high.
Yeah, I believe that.
With
I believe that.
with 806,000 ratings.
Well, they're about to have 806,001 because I'm gonna go on and give it a. I mean, it didn't do anything wrong. It's like it is a 5-star. It's a 5-star book. I could see it being maybe a 4 for some people, but even a 4 is really good. But for me personally, 5. Even at times where I thought I was getting bored of certain things, the
10.
way the story would change around, I'd be like, I'm right back into this. Let's go. Yeah.
It's good. I highly recommend.
Thank you for picking that as our
I would
first
love to see the movie together.
that we read.
I knew I had to pick a good one.
We have to plan like a weekend around like the release of that movie, go see it, record, because we have to follow up.
Of course.
But it's rare for me to start a book when I'm already reading another book, and it was just so fun. I can picture every day that I sat out in the sun during work and just read.
I will love that.
It
Love
was just
that
a fun experience all around.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
It's feel good. It's a feel good
5-star.
book, right?
It is a feel good for a book that's
I
about
needed
the
that.
end of the world.
It's a feel good
It is
book, man.
a feel good book.
Every book I read is not feel good, so it's nice once in a while. It's
Oh
like,
my God.
here's a happy one.
Yeah. All around, like even the lows, they're quick. Even the scary even when you think Rocky's dead, it's like but he's back up in like a couple chapters.
Yeah. And I need, he is back up. And I'm playing Expedition, and I'm like, I need some lightheartedness.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels good to get some lightheartedness.
Especially in these dark times. These nerd shit in the dark times.
Yeah. Well, it's June and it's 60 degrees out, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only getting Juner. You got a birthday coming up.
1 week.
I got a birthday coming up. Miranda's got a birthday coming up.
It's
Ernie's got a birthday. Everybody's got a birthday coming up. What a month June is.
I'm going to the beach next week. I'm pretty pumped.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah, just for a few days. But just to get away.
I don't blame you. Just with
Project
friends.
Hail Mary, 10 out of 10. We recommend to everybody.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to see the movie. Read it before you see the movie.
Read it before you see it, but put some distance. I think it's going to be good to put some distance, because this is a book that like you can take every moment of it. Like if I saw this movie right now, I would know the book so well that I'd just be thinking of, but like enough time will pass. And you'd be
offended if they were like, don't put in a scene or two.
Sure. That I'd probably maybe just fucking forget by the time I see the movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that movie a real chance.
That like the casting isn't exactly the way I want it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm excited though.
I'm excited too. Well, everybody, that was our final showing for tonight's episode of Nerd Shit in the Dark. I hope if you've read this book, I hope you agreed or liked what we had to say about it. And if you haven't, I hope you stopped at spoilers and you just went and read this book because it's really good and then came back. And if you didn't do either of those things and you just sat this whole way through and got spoiled, I hope we made for a really fun sounding movie for you. That was a mouthful. Jake, why don't you take it away and give the shitters I love how you give the little outro, the little like subscribe, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, listen, I'm perfect for this because I really believe it. Just give the YouTube a view if you listen on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, put it on your playlist on Spotify. It helps. Chase works extremely hard on this. People don't understand how much time and effort he puts into it. So like it everywhere you can, just to show us a little bit of support. It's always appreciated, and we love you.
That we do. So with that, good night, sleep tight. Do not let the shit bugs bite. Take care and happy summer.